Hi, this is My Good Bad Brain. It's a podcast about mental health and being a person. If you like the podcast, please review us 5 stars here. It helps us a lot. It's on iTunes mostly. You can review it anything you're passionate about, and that's true to you, but I prefer 5 stars. Also, check us out on patreon.com/mygoodbadbrain. Those contributions really keep this thing going. Let's get into it. Theme song.
Welcome to my good bad brain. I'm a normal person, so I'm insane. I've got depression and ADHD, but I'm doing better since I medicated me. I'm still not always sure whether I exist or what being a person even really is, but I figured out a long time ago that being alive is beautiful.
Hi, it's me. It's Jarrett. It's my good bad brain. I'm sitting on the floor. I'm laying on the floor. I have a weird thing in my neck, and the more time I get to be out of sitting in a chair, which I really think is causing the problem more than the ridiculous impact, blunt force trauma that I get from jiu-jitsu. People trying to choke you and joint lock you and say, yeah, probably not that. Probably just the sitting in a chair, the text neck. So I invite you also, if you are listening, to change your posture. Don't stare down at your phone and scroll while you listen. Maybe lay on the floor somewhere, stretch your neck out that way backwards, open up your chest. Just get something to counter that normal posture of just hunched over, protecting yourself like a boxer as you, clutch at your phone like a raccoon who just, found a nice a bag of popcorn somebody threw out at the movies. Hi, it's me. It's Jarrett. And this episode of My Good Bad Brain, I'm super pumped about. The guest is Zach Campbell. And Zach's amazing. I met Zach doing Dude View, the show on Clever that was on for a bit, where they sort of asked, because Clever, a lot of the audience of Clever is female, a lot of the main hosts and such on Clever are mostly female, and so they started this show to sort of ask male opinions on things, and it was just really interesting, all different kinds of males. And Zach and I co-hosted something, and I knew I wanted to, I say this again, I'm always repeating myself in this thing. We're always repeating ourselves, figuring the same things out over and over, saying the same things. I feel like I have 3 stories that I cycle through in 3-month periods at a time. Anyway, I knew that I wanted to have Zach on here. He's just got a really good energy, very positive sort of presence, and I don't know, I just want to know more about his story. We're, different people. And I want to know how he gets through and does these things. And then a few weeks ago, when we had already sort of played a little bit of, Instagram DM tag, trying to set up maybe a Good Bad Brain Talk, he posted this video, or a teaser to the video. It's up now on his channel, about body dysmorphia. And I DM'd him right away. I was like, we got to talk about this. You got to come on Good Bad Brain, talk about this. Body dysmorphia is 100% something I struggle with. I think so many people struggle with. And let's get into it. And man, we get into it on this episode. I think going into this episode, I want to say a few things. Well, what do I want to say? One, I want to remind everybody that I'm not a professional. Zach's not a professional. We're not like healthcare professionals. And no one on this podcast, well, I don't think yet, but I might have some in the future. But pretty much no one's a professional in terms of mental health in this podcast. The whole point is that we're talking about our experiences, right? We're all authorities on our own experience. And I just want to hear about that from people who struggle with their good, bad brains. And that's the whole point. Because I guess I'm saying that because when I listened back through this conversation, I liked it. I still liked it a lot. I think our dynamic is I just enjoy this conversation a lot. It's good. But when we talk about body dysmorphia, we're talking about our body. We're talking about how we feel about our bodies. And I worry, here's what I'm trying to say. You can't tell somebody sees their body as something horrible, that they like, or parts of their body is like ugly, or whatever, in a sense, in a way that they look at themselves and see something totally divorced from reality, and with like such incredible negative judgments of themselves. You can't tell those people, oh, just don't have a body. And on top of that, don't have a relationship to your body. And on top of that, don't take care of your body even. Don't do exercise. Don't eat well, healthy, to make yourself feel good. Don't do any of that. Just stop hating your body and focus on that self-hatred and figure that out. Because we all have a body that keeps us alive, that lets us walk around the earth, that lets us see things and touch things and feel things and figure things out. A body that needs to be kept healthy, And on top of that, when we're talking about body dysmorphia, something that I feel like has a lot to do with like I said, divorced from reality, some abstract, absurd vision of yourself that's way weird and negative, that implies all these value judgments on yourself that have nothing to do with what it really is. I think it can be very empowering to undertake some physical practices and, sort of gain not just a sense of control, but like a sense more of like what your body really is. Just this end product of a bunch of random and not random factors, genetics and the twists of fate and, some sort of triggering inputs, traumas or stressful situations that your organism undertakes, whether it's like exercise or just sitting at your desk all day or whatever, or something sad or hard happening or injuries, and then takes the inputs of other molecules, food, things that you put into your body to use to build and rebuild, and then an end result. That's all it is. Building blocks and inputs, and then your organism's response to it. A billion cells just all doing their own thing, this big, strange gathering of organic materials, all following their own thread, and in concert with each other becomes this thing that is you, your body, the thing that houses whatever a soul is, whatever a consciousness is. And that's, I guess, it's weird, and trying to describe it as something perfectly simple and physical and without anything that you could ever really judge about it, I feel like I've made it more abstract. What I think you hear happening throughout this conversation is two guys who have body dysmorphia, who have struggled with it for years, bouncing in and out of talking about our dysmorphia and then sort of acting it out. And then talking about our dysmorphia and talking about ways that we deal with our dysmorphia, and then kind of acting it out, and then getting back, bouncing back and forth. Are we talking about the self-hatred? And then instantly talking about nutrition plans that we've tried or exercises that we like. So I hope this resonates with y'all. I think it's probably loaded with triggering stuff about, body dysmorphia and whatever, but hopefully y'all hear it through the lens of other people who have weird goddamn relationships with their own bodies. I do have a lot of physical practices in place, and I've tried a lot of things over the years, and some of it is definitely, I think, healthy. It's stuff that I do to deal existentially with my problems, to center myself in the world, to become more present in this realm that I'm not always sure exists. But also sometimes is unhealthy. You act out things because you don't like yourself. You resent this thing that you have to move around in, and you try to destroy it or try to change it or shape it or whatever. But then sometimes that's empowering because you realize it's not me. It's just this thing of clay, of weird meat that I can mold with my intention, and I don't have to feel so identified with it. It's this constant push-pull of relationship with yourself. And I guess, like anything, like my overarching sort of realization from all of my good bad brain, the end result, the end question is, are you doing this in inquiry? Are you staying in inquiry? And are you finding out, am I doing this because I hate myself, or I'm doing this because I want to take care of myself? And that is where I think you have to really get honest with yourself. And you have to take these ideas of dysmorphia and self-hate and whatnot, the reflection you see in the mirror, or that you see in a photograph of yourself, or a selfie that you've taken, or that someone else took, or that shows up online from a flattering or unflattering angle. You look at all that and you receive it and you go, am I reacting to this in a healthy way, or am I off, in the swamps of toxic shame and despair? And am I seeing something nobody else sees, only I see because I hate myself? Constant struggle, man. Constant weird struggle. So I hope you get something out of it. The other parts of this conversation that I absolutely love and felt were very eye-opening to me and very valuable, and I would like to delve into on later episodes, are Zach and I come from very different cultural backgrounds, and I've gotten some requests and DMs and stuff to sort of like bring this up more in the podcast, talk about mental health through the lens of different cultural influences and backgrounds. And, Zach's black, and he grew up black, and he also grew up, he's gay, and he says that in the podcast, how he's like double oppressed, but specifically focusing on the black experience. He gets into some really interesting stuff that I found eye-opening as a white person who, with all the privileges that entails, and also coming from like a fairly like woo-woo family of my own. Zach had some time in foster care and had a tough childhood, but he also has some wonderful grandparents that he talks about his relationship with. And we get into stuff about like how black community in his experience views and deals with the ideas of mental health or doesn't. And man, he goes on this thing about whoopings, about like his grandma would use corporal punishment sometimes with him. And he talks about it in a way I've never heard anybody talk about it, and really was very eye-opening to me. When, coming from a sort of like, I think easy, like, oh, you should never hit kids or whatever. And I still think that, and Zach thinks that. I'm not trying to misrepresent that. He says it in the thing. But the context, the cultural context of being a black man in white America, and, sort of the different relationship with authority and violence as a tool of control and oppression, and his grandmother's concern for him and how that all ties together, their love for him and wanting him to be the best and safest he could be in the world, is really fucking beautiful and fascinating and complex. And I'm hoping that this is the first of more episodes to come where we can talk to people from different backgrounds than mine. And by we, I mean, me in this specific instance, because I've proven to have a fairly diverse audience from all the folks messaging me and that I've gotten to know. But I hope that we can continue talking along those lines and having conversations more and more unfolding about different cultural backgrounds of mental health. I know I had somebody talk to me in person recently regarding the podcast and these ideas about like Australian males in Australia and their different sort of take on mental health, Australian values. And so, there's all different kinds of folks out there, and I don't know. I think we have a lot in common, and we have a lot that's different, obviously. And honoring both of those things, and hopefully finding out the threads that make us more similar than different. I hope that that's the ultimate feeling here, is that like, damn, we're all kind of sharing this one big meta good bad brain as people. But man, I don't know. I just love this conversation. We get really, really open and honest. It's really fun. We talk about, the get dark question is fun. Talk about like sex stuff, and I don't know. I just really adored this, and I adored Zach, and I hope you dig this. I'm actually gonna stop talking now and let this thing take place because I love it, and I'm gonna go right into doing a brain breather because I got a lot of thoughts. The brain breather will come out earlier for y'all who are patrons. Thank you if you're a patron. Check us out, patreon.com/mygoodbadbrain. This one's a little intense. I put off recording it. I usually do them obviously the previous week, but it's about death, and there's weird thoughts. I had a weird experience with seeing a dead person recently in public, and I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. But that is plenty, I think, for this opening. Let's get into this wonderful conversation about all kinds of wonderful mental health stuff with the truly lovely Zach Campbell. Thank you so much. Here we go. Bye. Welcome, Zach.
Hey.
Thanks for being on My Good Bad Brain.
I'm excited. This has been months in the making.
I feel weird. I feel like we're all just rolling, and then I turn the mics on, and then there's a feeling of just like, okay, now we can't don't know how to talk anymore.
Now we have to be serious.
Yeah, but not at all, of course. Thanks for being here. I've been wanting to do this for a while. We met doing that show for Clever, the Dude View,
Dude's
the now
View,
defunct.
yeah.
I don't know, maybe it'll come back.
I hope it comes back. It was so good.
Yeah, it was so good.
But the gag is, see, this is the thing. I want to live for talking about executives. See, I live for how the executives told us, oh, the show is so amazing. And it did very well.
Yeah.
Hence, but where's the second season?
I still work for them frequently, so I don't think I'll go too into it. No, I don't know. Who knows? You know, I mean, it's just a typical. I love Clever. I worked there for like 5-6 years, and there's just a kind of feeling of like, you know, they try things and
I'm like,
then they try other things, and they keep trying things.
Okay, well, I need you to come back and try that because that was fun. I enjoyed that.
I think there's a good chance.
Mind you, I didn't really get paid that much at Clever because like, I'm just freelance.
No, me too. Same thing.
But it was just so fun.
I know. That's my feeling about Clever too. It's like there's very few, especially in new media and media in general, but especially in new media, I think, places that really feel like that fun. Like everybody gets along, you're having a good time, it's easy. You can trust that they're not gonna like fuck you in the edits and pick like the gross or bad stuff.
I thought they were, but not at all.
No, especially in that show. I was very like dubious going into that because I would like have these things with Jill about it sometimes, who's I'm pretty sure of that. I'd be like because I have a very serious belief that sometimes just answering the wrong question adds to the problem.
Oh, always.
You know, especially when you get into this realm of like gender norms of like men are like this, women are like this.
And we were talking about a lot of gender norms. That's pretty much the show.
And so like if they're like, do you think it's ridiculous that women spend this much on makeup or something like that? Looking for like clickbaity stuff. Like, I'm just like, well, that's a silly, the way you're framing the question, I'm not even gonna answer the question because like, you know what I mean? Just like sometimes just answering a question, now you've entered into a discussion about a topic and you're sort of like agreeing to the premise and arguing the premise instead of just going like, wait, no, you're trying to reframe the debate and say like, it's better now than it used to be when we should have never accepted it in the first place or whatever.
Yeah, it's very much kind of like, I don't want to come off as hyper masculine or not sensitive to femininity. So I don't know how to answer this.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I think about with this pod a lot, and I think it'll come out actually in some of the stuff we talk about today, and just in general with my good bad brain is like my literal brain, not just the title, is that gender norm stuff and trying to track like how much of it is like patriarchal stuff you're taught as a boy when you're young and be like this. Yeah. How much of it is actually seems like it's in your body somewhere, whether it's like sense of competition or aggression or sex drive, stuff like that, predatory, not in true predatory, but in like that kind of feeling of like, ooh, everyone's an option or, that's some gender stuff or like stuff like before I feel like you could ever be programmed that you just do when you're like a baby or two, that you're like, well, let's examine some of this as like genuine to my experience and some of it is taught, but that until we can like be honest about our foibles or our things that maybe aren't the nicest about us, like I think one of mine is like an attraction to violence. Like I do combat sports and stuff like that a lot, and just like violent video games or whatever. But if you don't acknowledge it's part of you, if you just walk around going like, what person would like that?
How could you?
Yeah, then you're never going to deal with the problem.
Yeah.
You're never going to deal with it in a healthy way. Like anything that is true about you and maybe kind of corrosive or toxic that you just like shove into a cabinet of yourself somewhere, it's going to fester there.
Always.
And it comes out in like weird pathologized ways.
And like, you ever had like moldy or like stale chips?
Yeah.
Inside of a cabinet.
Yeah.
That's those thoughts.
Yeah.
Those are those thoughts.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's just like, okay, I'm going to try to repress these, but now they taste disgusting.
Yeah. It's funny too, because like sometimes they're like just a little bit off and you eat one and you're just like,
I don't like this.
This is, which is actually, probably extending that metaphor, the nicest version of like when you actually go to do your work and investigate those things and you try on an old habit or thought and you're like, ooh, I don't like this anymore.
That's really crazy. Because it's like habits. Ooh, I love how this is talking about mental health. Because habits, like, I try to do like old habits, like, what was it? Like biting my fingernails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you're like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that I do this.
Right.
But when I was a kid or like just even a couple years ago, I was like, I don't really care. But I used to like little people know. Not little people know, but I guess it was a big part of my brand. I used to get my nails done a lot when I was like first starting off using YouTube. I used to get like acrylic nails and like I used to get like the long claws like Beyonce, like and Gaga. I was very inspired.
I like that.
And so when I took them off, everybody was like, and like I did it for like 2 years straight. And I finally just started wearing like my like regular nails, whatever. And then I started like getting into like my masculinity and whatever. And then people were like, wait, are you like changing? Like you don't care about, you know, being weird or expressive? And I was like, well, how does that really make me like look like I'm changing? Because I want to evolve or like make something that I've never done before because I didn't embrace my masculinity before. Right. So like, it's like habits like that. Like I can't see myself getting my nails done anymore, unfortunately. But it's like, I love it. Like do it, please. Oh, fuck it up. But like me, I just can't see myself doing it anymore. So it's like, you just kind of evolve from things.
That's funny.
You know?
I had like a similar but opposite. I started painting my toenails. They're kind of like falling apart right now. It's from 4th of July, so they're falling. And I do jiu-jitsu, so I mess my toes up all the time. Yeah. But and I had it. I started it because of therapy. This idea of self-care. I one day was going to go cut my toenails, and then I was like, I could pay someone to do this. And I walked like, you know, down a few blocks from my house and sat down, and they were doing it. And then they said, do you want color? And I had this like sky blue shirt on at the time, and I was like, and it just made me happy. I was like, yeah, let's do this color.
Let's do this.
And it's similar, but the other way around, where like people ask me like, why do you do that? Or like, what's the deal with your toes? And you're just like, I like it. And more than that, it makes me feel like, cause most people don't even see your feet most of the time.
It's very true.
It's which even if they can see my hands, once in a while I'll do like my fingers. I like to do like a few fingers, not all of them. I just like asymmetry.
No, I do that too. Yeah. I still do that. Like I paint like a couple of fingernails, whatever, just because like, why not?
Yeah, it's nice. It's like, but I think it's because you're like bejeweling your body. You're like doing something to treat yourself like it's precious, and you want to just, you know, treat it like put a fresh coat of paint on it.
Yeah, why not?
And I always liked that, this feeling that like this part of me I'm paying attention to. But the whole point of it, just like you, it sounds like with your nails, like trying them on and then feeling like that wasn't resonating honestly with you anymore. It's like when it stops serving you.
When it stops serving you, I gotta stop.
Like, what am I gonna keep doing it because it's my brand?
Because it's a quote unquote brand.
Quote unquote brand.
Yeah, that's like, I think that's even with like musical artists. Like I feel like when people like Gaga or like Rihanna or like even male artists like Drake or whatever, like you have to evolve after a while. Like, cause some people want to put you in a box. Like I remember some people's like, why can't Gaga stay in the Born This Way era? Like why can't Drake stay in the Take Care era? And I was like, well, you need to grow. You have to grow. And if they stay in that era, you'll get bored with them after a while. You really would.
Well, we do. We like see that happen. And also, it's just like, to me, there's certain questions like that where there's no point in even getting into an idea of like, well, should they just do their old sound or like let's say, you know, we were talking about before started like Yeezus. Like the Yeezus album comes out, it's a very harsh sound, it's very different. And let's say you just don't like it. You're like, I want my Dark Twisted Fantasy back. Maybe you want 808 Heartbreaks back.
I miss 808. I'm not even gonna lie.
Of course. And
not
like,
gonna lie.
Dude, I miss Graduation. That stuff's like amazing. Yeah. But like, so you hear it. There's no point in even saying like, he should really do that old stuff that was good. It's like if you have a partner that comes to you and says like, I love somebody else. What are you gonna be like? No, you don't. Yeah, that's not true.
Yes, how you gonna tell me?
You just got to go like, oh well, I don't like that, but that's true. That's reality, and I just have to deal with that. And I feel the same way. It's such a funny thing that we get into, like with this new media thing. Somebody starts changing, and you were attached to them for some aesthetic thing before that resonated with you, and now they're not doing it anymore. That you go like. It's just so silly to think that you should go back to doing your old stuff because you're like, that's not me anymore.
I don't live for that.
Yeah. And why for that person out there, if you ever feel that way, a favorite or a thing changes an aesthetic and is no longer, I think it's incumbent on you to go like to deal with this thing of like, well, why am I so attached to something that doesn't exist anymore? Why is it so hard for me? I think this is about times in our life. There are phases of my life that were like beautiful times. I remember them like these nostalgia, golden hued halcyon days. And sometimes it's because that's how you turn into like the 30-something at the club with all the 20-somethings, you know,
I think about stuff like that because like in the gay community, it's like that. Yeah. And it's like, I feel bad because like, the older gays will feel like, isolated because there's like a whole lot of 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds. And I'd be like, well, okay, well now this is weird because like, the older gays, because I can't even say that because I'm about to become an older gay. Wow.
How old are you?
I'm only 24. However,
you're about to become an older gay at 24?
Well, let me tell you something. Okay. In the gay world, for some reason, the 28 and 30 is like fucking Asian. Like,
Oh
oh my God,
my
you're about to
God,
die.
dude.
You're going to die in a couple
That's
years.
crazy.
It's really sad. It's almost like we live in a year, like a gay relationship in a year for like, if you last 1 year, it's like 10 years.
Sure, I get that. That's like LA time. Like I
Yeah.
have friends with my friends in LA for like 7-8 years, and I'm like, that's like 30 years
We've been
in
together
real
for like
life.
lifetime.
Yeah.
But no, that's amazing. So I think that like, I forgot my point.
I mean, I kind of get that. I kind of get that, like, meaning just in new media, even like I'm 32 and like, you know, I feel it. If I'm around somebody even 21, 20, you're just like, oh, you're so fucking young.
Yeah.
But I felt that way when I was 24 too.
Yeah.
There's definitely shifts like where
I
you
feel
just
like
go
that when you're like, I'm like, you're 20. Like, oh no, not me, the 18-year-old. It's like, oh, I'm fucking ancient.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna die.
But there's a huge difference between 18 and 21 even, but especially
really is.
24. I mean, like, because you are truly getting out in the world a little more.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, I'm obviously not a professional about brains or anything like that, but I wonder, I know that they say the thing like your brain keeps maturing and like doesn't stop growing until you're like 26 or something like that. Yeah. So like, which is part of the insanity of like saying 18 is old enough to like sign up for the army or whatever. Cause you're like
are
your
you
fucking
sure?
brain's not ready yet for
Are you
anything.
sure?
And also I do think there's an insidious larger thing, like on that note, not to, derail too much, but like there's a reason old men start wars and young men go fight them, because you have to be a fucking lunatic to believe in that shit and be like, this is a good idea. Not even as a cowardly thing, like buying into the idea that the best way to solve this problem is
to blow this country up.
Yeah, it's like insane. So like you have to be an impressionable.
And then it's like, well, this is going to go really derailing, but it's like, that's like when you're in the army, like I feel like, because I have some friends in the army and I ask them all sorts of questions. I'm like, I know some things are classified. So I'm like, okay. But like, I just need to know.
Yeah.
But like, it's just like when you're like training for the army, like as a young guy or even a young woman, like your estrogen or testosterone levels like skyrocket because you're like forcing your body to
while you're in there
grow like faster than you can actually develop.
Sure.
So it's like, sure, let's fucking blow this shit up. Why not? Because like that's all I feel at this point.
There's also like indoctrination stuff too, like that gets you excited about it. Like, I mean, this is actually interesting. I'm going to talk. I have some buddies I do jiu-jitsu with who are vets, and so there's some coming up episodes we're going to talk about like PTSD and stuff like that.
I would love to.
Yeah, I'm psyched about it. But there's this book I read called On Killing. I think it's like one of the best books I've ever read. It's just impacted, just about humans, but especially for artists, I think it's really interesting because it's about this army, like he's ranked in the army and he did this study of army people and, for some kind of doctoral degree or whatever. But it's basically about what happens to people who kill people. Like what happens. And long story short, the long story short is it just breaks you. Like basically everybody because it's the worst thing. There's something inside of our DNA and programming that's just like, it's the worst transgression.
It really is.
And it just, fucks you up.
Killed somebody? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, but they talk about how they got the people to do it. Basically only in relatively recent history did like PTSD start becoming a bigger, like we really saw with Vietnam, a really big like homeless vets and stuff like that. And people who were mentally like really messed up from it. And one thing that they correlated to this number rising was that the number of people who shoot with intent to kill skyrocketed since basically every armed conflict prior to and up to including World War II, it seems to support that the shooter rate, meaning like the soldiers who shot at the enemy trying to actually kill them, was only like 20%. And that like everybody else, they call it the soldier's prerogative to miss. That like would, because it was just so awful to them. So they'd shoot and make their guns look like they're shooting at them, but they'd miss on purpose. They'd just be like, I'm fighting, but they'd really, nobody wants to kill anybody.
That's me.
And so they did, but that's human. That's human. It's not cowardice or anything. It's like, this is an awful thing to do. Yeah. And that most of the deaths up to and including like World War II came from like artillery and bombings and things that were like impersonal and just happen. But once the army learned this, because they did this study for the first time, this big survey of the army people, they're like, okay, well, let's change our training so we can get people to kill people more. Ooh. And they got that number up to 50% in Korea and then 90% by Vietnam. So now you suddenly have soldiers, because of training techniques and this thing you're talking about, getting them all amped up with each other in a culture of like, let's fucking do this. Like, doing it because they're programmed to and they're trained to, and they've figured out ways to psychologically get people to do that. And then, of course, you see this vastly increased rate of like PTSD and suicide and all this stuff. So it's just interesting. It's just interesting how the power we have as a group, which I think that trickles down when we talk about gender norms or patriarchy stuff or whatever, or what we're going to talk about today, body dysmorphia. Like the way we can amp ourselves up as a group to believe a certain thing and then echo back and forth. Like one person's like, I don't know, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe this is kind of weird though. And then the other one goes like, no, it is a good idea. And the other one goes, yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, it's a good idea. And before you know it, we're like going crazy with
religion.
That's so
like one
true.
of the biggest like things.
I mean, that's the beauty industry now. It's so like religious. It's like that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like before, I'll just segue. We'll get into it. So when we met on Dude View, I knew I wanted to do a podcast with you because just like your energy is like very positive, and I don't know. There's something about it. I watched your videos. Yeah, that's like and I wanted to just. That's kind of the gist of how I pick people and get people on the show. Is like I want to know. I just want to know like
what the fuck is going on in your head.
Yeah. Why are you like that? How are you like that? What happened?
What happened to you?
Because everybody struggles with things too, and you can tell some people overcome it. Everybody. So it's like ends up being that. But then you posted this thing recently about body dysmorphia, very openly about your experiences with that, and I was like, I DM'd you like right away. I was like, please come talk about this.
You have to,
because I was like, this is so important. It's something that resonates with me, and I think a lot of people. So anyway, I'll let you start about that.
So basically, when I first moved to LA, I guess I was like a lot heavier, and I was like, I don't like this.
When was that, and where'd you move from?
I moved to LA last year, June 1st, actually.
Oh, pretty recent.
So I've been here for just a year.
Oh, congratulations! You made it. That's a big milestone.
I know. I've realized that.
I think year 1. Maybe 3, but definitely 5. Those are like I think the milestones of like
once
if you
make it 5
it.
years, I'm going to feel good.
Yeah,
because LA is a whole jungle. But when I made it here, I was like, okay. Before I got here, I wanted to work on fitness and stuff because I hated the way I looked through college, but like I didn't know how. And LA is like the mecca of health shit. Fucking vegan this, vegetarian that, green leaf this. I was like, okay, this is a lot. Like I met every other person I met. Oh, I don't know what meat is, and I was like, oh, I'm trash. Okay, nice to meet you. And I was like, I was like, okay, it has to be some method to this madness. Like all this health shit needs to be. Okay, let me get into this. But after all of that and like get into like the health shit, then you start to like look into yourself, like how did you even get to this point of being this unhealthy? So then you get into that and you get into depression, and then you get into like self-doubt, and then you get into just I guess body dysmorphic disorder will come at that point because you start to pinpoint the things that you hate about yourself.
And you just obsess over them.
Yeah, you obsess about it because you want to change it. You want to fix it because that's just human nature. Like,
let me ask a question before I want to push back on one of the things, like with the idea of unhealthy and like unhealthy as a euphemism, I suppose, for like being overweight.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
My question is like, have you done blood? Like, are you unhealthy? I think we have a terrible idea that like just because somebody's like has a fuller figure, that means they're unhealthy. I mean, look at fucking the NFL. Like people,
they big as hell.
Dude, they big as hell.
But they can run the whole fucking dude. But that's the thing. So no, I was not necessarily unhealthy. I never had like high blood pressure,
right,
and like high cholesterol. Though I couldn't move the way I wanted to. Like,
sure.
I'm a performer, so like I like to dance, I like to fuck it up, I like to be crazy or whatever. But when you get out of breath and you feel like your body, you just did a whole exercise and you probably really didn't do much.
Yeah,
it kind of affected me. And then when it came to like I love clothes, that was a problem. Like, why can't I wear the stuff I want to wear? Just, off the rack was not even a
which is an experience I think especially even worse for women because so much of like design is for like coat hangers, and then coat hanger-esque people. So like as soon as you put someone in there who's like has any kind of shape to their body, you start. I mean, this even gets into this idea of healthy. I'm glad we're using that word because like I've spent a lot of time in fitness stuff and whatnot, and this idea of healthy, like there's so many with CrossFit and stuff, like so many women are like getting into lifting and things more, and they start to get muscular. Some of them who really pursue it, and I can't believe how many like other women I hear, especially in the industry, who will be like, like I don't want to get that looks manly or something.
Oh, wow.
Instead, and this idea that like it is, and then they'll use the euphemism like, oh, I just want to be healthier, but that person's healthy.
They're healthy as fuck.
You've gotten
being skinny is not healthy. I like people need to understand that.
Yes, and this idea that we've programmed ourselves so much and been so convinced by beauty standards that like muscular doesn't like that woman's not manly. She's strong.
What does muscle mass equate masculinity? Why?
Right.
I don't understand.
Yes, there are certain notions like this. I do believe there are things that are gendered notions we can talk about in a yin yang concept of like soft, hard, masculine, feminine in the universe, elemental kind of.
But that's all
qualities.
man-made though.
But this is what I'm saying. Is like this is the thing I try to distinguish for myself, because I do think there is something to like like in standard biology, whatever, female can like gestate a creature inside of them and a male can't, but he can put, seed in it or whatever. And so like, I'm like, okay, so we can say there are some masculine, feminine, just in a spiritual concept, whatever. But I think the things that are definitely man-made are like things like that. We take an idea like strength, which is not a gendered concept.
It's literally just,
and then we just go, well, no, that's going to be masculine, and weakness is going to be feminine. As opposed to like being able to see, oh, well, that's not a manly woman. That's just a strong person.
But that's just like when guys have like a nice ass,
right?
Then they automatically think, one, you're gay, two, you're feminine, and it's like because I take care, like dudes in the gym. Like I know a lot of straight dudes that like make sure their ass looks good. Like they do squats, they do lunges, they make sure. Yeah. And I think that's so fucking dope. And I think that's so fucking attractive. But like,
I think a lot of straight girls do too, for the record.
A lot of straight girls, a lot of my straight girlfriends, they love boys with nice butts. Yeah. But it's like, but for GP, and GP stands for general public, they think that that's gay or something feminine. And it's like, how does that feminine cross over to women when women get a lot of like triceps and abs and they like
shoulders,
and it's like on shoulders, and it's like, and if they put a dress on, it's like, oh, you have these big ass arms with a dress, and it's like, but why is that equate to masculinity?
Like it. I mean, well, it's funny. Like an interesting thing to me, especially the ass stuff. If we're saying like straight guys afraid to like work out their lower bodies, like. All athletic capability and power comes from big, strong, mobile hips and butt. Like that's where like your running power, your punching power, your throwing power, frankly.
Punching power came from that.
Oh yeah, because like it's all about like turning your legs and hips into dropping your ass. I mean, look at like Mike Tyson. He's got a big upper body, but look at his legs. Or like look at punchers in the UFC who like seem to have knockout power, even though they're kind of like skinny and wiry, and they almost always have like big legs or like a big butt or something like that. That's what I look for when I go to like wrestle people or whatever. And I'm always like, if someone's got like big strong legs or like a big butt, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be bad. They look like not a big deal. They're gonna like someone who like bicycles a lot. They might, you'll be like, oh fuck.
Yeah, that's a fool. I actually just got into that with working out and stuff. Is bicycling. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. I haven't done it enough. I like rode a bike again fairly recently and was like, it truly is like riding a bike. Like, you never forget. But it's fun. My favorite, I think, cardio is rowing, like the rowing machine.
Wait, is that
where you like sit and pull.
So is that cardio?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely there's muscle involved because like you're using your legs and arms. It's probably part of why I like it because it's like, but it's.
I'm gonna try it. We have one in my gym, but I don't know how to use it. Yeah, I feel awkward doing it.
Yeah, there's definitely like a rhythm to it when you get into it, but it just becomes meditative. I think I like it, and it's easier on like if I run my whole life. If I run, like my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, stuff like that. It's weird. I can jump rope and I'll feel fine. Like you'd think would be worse the bouncing, but there's something about the running.
I'll fuck with running. I'll fuck with running.
That's great.
I don't know why I do, but it is so fucking fun and freeing. It's the best when you have like your like favorite album or like your favorite I play like live concert shits in my ear. So like we have that on and you like running, it's the best thing.
That is true. Best. Getting in a good flow with like a good song.
It's amazing.
Well, so see, this is what is interesting to me because body dysmorphia is so tightly tied to this thing. I think of it like the idea of being a workaholic. I was talking about this not too long ago, and if workaholism is a true problem.
I have that, so yes.
Okay, so it's very real. If you go down that list of things, and the point of it, the thing that differentiates it, a holism, an addiction, versus just like I like to work a lot, is why do you feel this need? And if it's sourced somehow, this is my understanding of my, whatever, with a compulsion addiction in general, is like, if it's to fill some hole or to create some sense of self-worth that never shows up, and you're chasing that, and that's the drive to your own detriment and the detriment of friends and relationships or whatever, then it's not, I just like to work a lot and I have a work ethic. Then it's becoming something else.
Well, maybe I'm not a workaholic.
See, I don't think so. Because I don't detect that about you. I think you just work a lot and you're ambitious.
Yeah, okay, then I'll say that.
But which is, I think,
because I've had some friends that be like, "Oh, bitch, you work a lot. You're damn near a workaholic." Because I can fucking like put so much energy into like videos and stuff,
right,
and production, and then I'll be like, haven't thought about my own mental health yet.
Well, so exactly. And I think with like when it does cross over to that, part of the difficulty in getting somebody to acknowledge that and change their habits is, unlike alcohol, where you can just go like cut alcohol out of your life, start there. It's not going to solve the problem. You're still going to have to do your inner work to figure out why you need to pour that alcohol in there. But you can't tell somebody just stop working.
Stop working, bitch. Be poor.
Yeah, just don't work at all.
No.
So I think there's a similar thing with body dysmorphia thing where you're like, okay, we need to talk about this body dysmorphia problem because you're out of your fucking mind and you're seeing things that don't exist and you hate yourself for no reason and you're obsessing over it, and that's bad. It's bad that you're not living in reality and you're doing it in a destructive way for yourself. But also there's this thing of like, everyone should be encouraged to like what I think is interesting is all the ways you've talked so far about your experiences with exercise and fitness, except for in the preamble, was about your experience of it. It feels good to move. I love to move.
But I didn't like that. See, that's the thing. That's why I made this documentary, because I hated fucking exercising. I hated the gym. I was insecure about the gym. I was like, that's too much of a judgment situation. Yeah. People in there that look good as fuck, and I'm not about to go in there and be judged. But like the second episode comes out this Sunday. And
I'm looking forward to
this
it.
episode is about me going to the plastic surgeon and like getting into liposuction and doing all that shit. And so,
did you do that? Did you
exposing? Spoiler, no.
Okay,
but
I mean, this will come out after.
Yeah, but I didn't get it or whatever. But the episode will look like I did, and will be, but I'm not, because you actually will get a lot. The second episode shows my decision making live on camera, because I was fucking like going, like, what happened was me and my cameraman got in the car and I like had this mental breakdown after I left the fucking place, because like I was like, this is so much to have people feel your body and like tell you what you need to do to get this surgery, and then you're contemplating like, well, do I need this to look good?
Yeah. Do I need to like literally make incisions in me
to really get what I want? And I think I made this documentary, one, for me to heal from this, but two, to tell people like, yo, this is real shit. Like, people don't ever talk about, they associate body dysmorphia generally with big people because they think that people hate being big, but it's like, it goes so much deeper than that. I
associate a lot with actually like anorexic people and bulimic people.
I feel, see, and this is the thing. So I feel the same way. And when I released this documentary, one, YouTube didn't push it. So that's one thing. Because my initial title was I Hate My Body, and YouTube does not like hate whatsoever. But I didn't really care. Because I said because usually it would have got like 100,000 views immediately. And I guess with knowing like my numbers and stuff, 100,000 views is not unnormal for my channel. So like, I was like, okay, amazing, dope. But like, I knew that sabotaging the algorithm for this documentary would be amazing. But the reason why is because the engagement is super duper high, and I wanted it to be as organic as possible. Yeah. Because I think when you make things like you're looking for a profit or something, it comes off ungenuine. Yeah. So I wanted it to be like, so I put I Hate My Body, and YouTube immediately emailed me like, oh, well, first of all, no.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, no. They don't live for that. Because they think that I'm self-hating myself, or I'm promoting that you should hate your, like, it's a computer that runs this shit.
Dumb.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's a computer, yeah.
I low-key have to go through my YouTube manager to really get down, but I'm not about to go through all that for all this. So what I'm going to do is keep it the way it is. Yeah. The next episode will be very mass, like, it's just, it's going to go where it needs to go, whatever, because I'm not going to put nothing that makes it look for the computer to make it like not deem it recommendable. But for that to be so impactful, to get so many messages and stuff, to be like, yo, I didn't know I fucking had this, or I didn't know I fucking hated myself, or like even people that I looked up to in fitness were like, oh, bitch.
Well, I think a lot of fitness people, when you get to know them too, like, I mean, fitness is one of these double-edged things. Again, like a workaholism thing where you're like, there's definitely a part that's like, you're trying to fill a fucking hole.
That's no shade.
You're chased in there with a demon on your back.
Really, really
sure.
true. Like I think people like when you get like obsessed with like lifting and running, but like you're doing it religiously. It's almost like you're trying to look for. I don't know. I don't want to say validation, but like you're looking for some type.
I think.
Okay, well,
I think so. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, just in my opinion, but like, there's definitely some validation, some sense of self-worth that you're seeking.
Self-worth. That's what I was looking for.
I also think it might have to do with a seeking of control. My understanding is a lot of like eating disorder stuff is about like dealing with trauma by like, well, my body is something I can control, and that this one place that you can see is control, and then that kind of spiraling out of control. Because oh man, it is like we're kind of bouncing back and forth, but that's the nature of this thing where it's like movement, living in your body, being healthy, being free in your body, trying to cultivate that is good for you. It's good to pay attention. But
everything, you have to do everything in moderation. Like
yes, which is an easy thing to say, but it's also like.
But when you have a goal, like I look, that's when body dysmorphia comes into play. Because even with working out, for me, working out made it worse.
Okay, so recently, this is a thing I want to talk about because I was saying before this, I recently decided to do for a little bit like a thing where I tracked all my food and I was doing a bunch of these workouts. And I've gone through phases in the past a little bit, but this is the most hardcore one I'd done. I had a friend write me up a thing, and she does like figure competition and stuff. She's like incredibly good shape. One thing I've always liked about talking to her is this feeling that these people, like some of these people have they look at their bodies and don't have this personal value association. It's just a thing that you have, and it actually is empowering to say like, I can do this with it, I can do this with it, I can experience this. And I've kind of had that myself too. Like sometimes I purposely have gained as much weight as I could, got up to like 215 or something like that, and was squatting a lot of weight. Sometimes I cut down to do tournaments and get as light, you know what I mean? But like to me, this idea of like creating a relationship where I don't have to have personal moral value associations with this fucking thing I walk around in that I don't associate with so much of the time, was helpful. And like creating, like even measuring the food and stuff, it was empowering partly for my ADD brain to feel like I understood and I could create some structure in my life, but partly because also I think learning about a little bit more about like just on a scientific level, like what are these things you put in your body? How do they affect? And then starting to look at your body, not as a morally valued thing of like, I'm a piece of shit or I'm so great or whatever, as just this weird organic machine that is an added up, it's an equation of like your behaviors and your inputs. And that's it. Nothing worse or better than that. And to give you the sense that you can take some control over your life, which might for me, feels like chaotic and impossible all the time. Now, that being said, I also feel like I hesitate to recommend that strategy to anybody because there's some people that nitpicking, that paying attention, that measuring can make it way worse.
And when people came to me about that after the documentary came out and was like, you know, the dieting, everything makes body dysmorphia like disorder. It amplifies it because you're doing all this work and you're like, fuck, the stomach's still there, or fuck, I'm not gaining any weight, or like even when you do your skin, if you have like a fucking acne problem, oh, okay, I've been doing all this and it's still, you know, so it amplifies what you're doing and what you're nitpicking about your body. So like with me, when I start working out, and I have like, I take like apple cider vinegar pills and like my pre-workout or whatever to give me energy and to curb my appetite. But when you don't see like the results immediately, you instantly get depressed. At least I did. I instantly got depressed. And I instantly got like, fuck it. I don't fucking want to do this anymore.
Well, I will give that advice to anybody. And again, I'm just hoping this is all received with this nuanced sense of like doing your personal inquiry before you do it. Because you know what I mean? Like we keep doing this thing. We can't help it in this conversation, even where we talk about this thing. We're almost dancing around it. We haven't talked about it yet. Like that hatred of yourself, this thing. And then you get into so quickly the nitty gritty of like, so I did the exercise and then this stuff about the exercise, but you're like, wait. What about this thing where we hate ourselves? So anyway, I hesitate to like, because sometimes I think people need to make sure they're in a healthy place with their motivations to start. But I will say that's the thing that happens to me. Everyone I've ever known is doing an exercise program and getting 2 weeks in and being like, my body's fucking, what am I doing?
I'm fucking wrong with it.
And just,
like it takes
the reality of like the idea of a lifestyle of like
you literally have to change your lifestyle.
Is
literally.
Yes. And I think also like getting out of the idea of dieting or like I'm going to go on this program for a while or whatever and into the idea of like maybe the jumpstart is but just to cultivate a sense of like finding what you like to do. Like it's important for us to have a relationship with our bodies where we care for it like we'd care for a dog.
Come on.
You know?
That's a good
like
way to
a
look
pet,
at it.
where you go like, I'm going to make sure I walk you. I'm going to make sure I feed you because you won't be happy if I don't.
Because that's the thing. Like right now I'm on a meal plan situation. Like people, like I have my meal preps delivered to me every week.
Yeah.
However, I'm cutting it off because one, I think that it's too much. It's too much mental with it. Like you have to like, these are the only things you can eat. You know what I mean? For the week or whatever. And it's like, well, what if I don't want that? Right. What if I want to go? What if I want to make something? Or what if I want to go somewhere else?
Yeah. So my friend who's this trainer who was like helping me and writing these workouts for me and stuff like that. One thing I loved about the way she interacts with me is like she wrote me these plans. It was a lot of workouts and I had a lot of free time and I was kind of like trying to take control of aspects of my life so I could do these workouts like 5 days a week and I was tracking everything, whatever. As soon as some jobs came up and things like that, I was like, I got to the end of the week and I was like, I got to be honest. I switched. I want to do more jujitsu, which is like, I really love jujitsu. And I felt like I was spending my physical time in a gym instead of like doing this thing that I love. So I was like, I got to be honest. I didn't fit any of those workouts in this week. I'm feeling really dumb and bad about it. Which would have taken like 4 hours a day to do that plus the other thing. I was like, I haven't been tracking my food because I have this work. I'm really stressed. And she was like, the point of this whole thing is to make you feel more well and happy and like peaceful and content in your body and in your life. As soon as it becomes something that's inducing anxiety or stress and making it worse, like, I'm doing this to be healthy. I'm doing this to take care of myself. I'm tracking all my food. I can't eat that. I can't do that. Like you've gone off the deep end. Now you're doing the opposite of what's intended. Yeah. And you need to know when to pull back and go like, no, wait. I'm trying to make my life better. I'm trying to make me feel better.
I'm trying to make me feel better, not just for right now. And that's where I'm at right now.
Not just for right now.
Not just for right now. And that's where I'm at with this meal prep situation where I'm like, you know what? Okay. Let's do it like this. I'm going to not go on a low carb diet. I'm going to go on a low carb lifestyle where I fuck with fries. I'm sorry. I fuck with cookies. Sorry. I fuck with chips. So sorry, sis. Can't get rid of that. So what I'm going to do. But if I want a fucking burger, I feel like I've been dropping the F-bomb. I'm so sorry.
No, we say fucking shit. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So I'm like, if I want a burger, I'm going to get one, but I can get one without a bun. That's not a problem for me. Like, why can I'm going to eat one with lettuce. And I've been doing that lately, like just 3 days ago, like started. Yeah. And I'm obsessed.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm like, this is so fun.
I think it's very important for us because this is part of the problem too. I do think our ideas, like even the idea of like vegan people and vegetarian people, so many of those fucking people who
I love them though. Like,
I love them. But I love them. So like scared, like no, of course they're great, of course. But like, I mean, and also a bias probably speaking as a former butcher, and I spent whatever. But like, if you get and everyone knows has to know their body, they have to like spend time with their body, and everyone's system is different. But like. It's a lot of it's rooted in bad food science anyway, and being like, what are we talking about when we say healthy? Well, because you look like a waif, like because like that's like you're no offense, but you're like malnourishing yourself. You are, and there's a lot of science about like high carb stuff. This is part of the reason it became of great interest to me. I take probiotics a lot now, and I have cut back on carby stuff because unless you're doing like heavy lifting, I don't think it's great for the system. Yeah, but not even as like we only think of it as like is it gonna be fat or not? Am I gonna whatever? Let's talk about insulin spiking. Let's talk about inflammation and those effects on your mood and wellness.
That's the thing. So I used to like eat, right? And I used to eat like a lot of like pizza and or whatever. Sure. And like a lot of carb driven foods. And I used to get mad because I was like, why the fuck am I bloated afterwards? Because I drink a lot of water. Yeah. I drink a lot of water. Right. So that's naturally going to bloat my body.
Of course.
But it leaves
carbohydrate. It's a carbon atom attached to 4 water atoms.
Exactly.
So if you drink it's going to grab all those.
So this is the fucking problem. So I used to like eat all this carbonated shit, but like this carb shit, all this like carb driven foods, but I would drink a lot of water with it, so then I'll naturally feel very fucking bloated for like the next 2 days. Like my bloat lasts forever. I feel like. And so I was like, I need to figure out a way because that will make me more insecure about my body dysmorphia. So I said, okay, what I'm going to do for myself and my sanity is putting all this control on what I'm eating is fucking me up. You know what I mean?
Like
Putting
tight
all this
control, yeah.
like all this excuse me, this meal prep and all this is too much. This is too much. I love just waking up and being like, okay, do I want an egg and something or whatever? You know what I mean? Or do I want to go to dinner tonight or whatever?
Yeah.
And just make what I want to make. And I think that cutting back on something that makes me insecure, like carbs, but still eating like a fry, or like even if I want a sandwich, I'll do that. But like, so it's about moderation. Like I said, everything is in moderation. Like when it comes to working out, when it comes to like the way you eat, like fuck yeah, eat a bag of chips, but don't eat the whole bag in one setting.
Well, yeah,
sis.
I think it's funny. It's hard because it creates this. It's asking us to do this thing that's already difficult for us. That I think I harp on this show a lot. It keeps coming up, but like to actually be an inquiry with yourself, where you are paying attention and saying like, well, what do I want to eat? And not just that, but like, how do I feel eating this? Like, and I think especially with carby foods and stuff like that, comfort foods, quote unquote, is like
food, baby.
It works. It creates this feeling to me, at least. Like if I have a binge, like whatever that, and I can identify later that it was definitely from an emotional place of like, there is a feeling of it. I literally, I don't even think it's like an accident that this is like the physical thing that happens. You are inflamed. It inflames your tissues. You get the bloat, whatever. There's a feeling of fullness and like pressure from that and like warmth and this thing. And you go to sleep. It's so comforting. You feel like a little baby.
Oh yes, baby. But you wake up like, oh, what the fuck is going on?
Well, yeah. And I think we need to acknowledge and be able to pay attention and go like, whoa, I am creating a drug effect for myself.
That's how I gained weight.
Sure.
Really people know, because all my weight is really in my stomach. And that's what I talked about in the documentary. I said, I love my face. I love my body somewhat. But I loathe to this day my stomach because I really want to lose it, because I'm more torso than anything. I have short ass legs, but my torso makes me 5'9".
Yeah.
So
wow. Yeah.
I gotta get it together because I'm all torso, but I don't desire to be. I think I had to clear that up too, because I don't desire to be thin.
Okay, well, this is a thing, because I think something that's tough for us to accept is, and this is, I think, where some of the body dysmorphia stuff comes in too, is like who we are. And that's a very obvious thing to say. It's hard to accept who we are. But truly, I've noticed in other friends who have this too, I have this weird thing where you're like, the body you decide that you wish you had is one that you will never have.
No.
Like, I'm like, I want to be like one of these like wafy, beautiful, perpetual youths who like always look like beautiful in any clothes and like, you know, and you're just like, oh, that's not who you are, though. You're not gonna be like an androgynous.
I think people
like,
should also
you know,
think of genetics too. I think people
disregard
that, like, oh, because I remember this one health person that I talked to was like, oh, genetics is a myth, and I was like, are you sure? Because
no, it's definitely not a myth.
I was
That's
like,
absurd.
my whole ass legs look like my mother's legs.
Yes,
and I was like, my torso is literally my father's
saying
torso.
Genetics are a myth is
so
totally
absurd. I was like, I'm literally the perfect mix between my short ass mother and my tall ass father.
Sure.
So it's like, okay, when I gained weight, my mother is heavier, and her whole side of the family is heavier. My legs look just like theirs. And so I'm like, okay, but like, because of my father being such an athletic person, I can run and jump and dance without a problem being heavy because it's genetics.
Well, so, and here is an important thing to I think point out is like, I don't think it's an accident that we pick things that are completely different from us. That's not about actually wishing you were something else. That's about wishing you weren't yourself. That's about not identifying that. And there are so many people I've met and know who would envy your genetic gifts, like, you know, like the power you have at your control, like the capacity, like when you get into like powerlifting and stuff too, like a lot of it's about like your levers, like just about sheer mechanics. Like you are beautiful, and the way that you can move is so real and powerful.
Like, even some exercise, I can't do some exercises, because my legs are too short, my torso is too tall. I'm like, fuck, I'm like, okay, I can't do that. I'm sorry, I'm just not flexible enough for that.
I do think it's helpful to like sometimes go like, there's always someone who wishes they were you. You know? While you're trying everything you can to get out of your shit.
So, but that's the goal with me. And I've come to that goal because my first goal was, of course, to be thin and be skinny and snatched and whatever. But then as I got realistic with my situation, I said, you know, hold the fuck up here. Let's really sit down and have a whole moment. Let's cry about it. Let's, you know, kiki about it, because I actually enjoy being a bigger guy, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, this is the way it comes. But it's always sickening. I actually enjoy being a bigger guy, being a little fluffier. It's so fucking sexy to me. I think it's actually kind of cute to have a little meat on you. But I think with me, because I want it to look clean, and what I mean by that, it's where I don't give a fuck about food. Is amazing. I'm gonna always be a foodie, so I'm sorry. That's not going to change. But let me put my frustration, that hate, that doubt into a workout. And let me put my stress into a workout. And now let's say, okay, let's take the goal of being thin out of it. Let's put the goal of being just the best you that you can be. And the best you that you can be is being sharp, and that's not just exercise your body, but exercise your brain, your work ethic. Like, you have to low key make a whole 360 when you want to go make yourself better and get out of this body dysmorphic situation. You have to think about mental health. You got to get into your physical health, and then those things will correlate with each other after a while. So now I'm like, okay, I don't want to be fucking a size 28 in pants, but I wouldn't mind being like a size 38 or like a size 35 or something, because that's so, to me, that's attractive. That's amazing. And like, from being almost a size 50 to now down to a size 39, that's amazing. Amazing. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to keep going, but I don't desire to be like this pencil thing. I want to have a little meat. I want to have a little problem. I want to have like a little pudge or whatever. But I want to be able to still run and dance and just be fit enough to do what I love doing.
Yes, living in your life, living in yourself.
But I will say,
I also say what you said about like taking that hate, taking that anger, put that in your workout.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't, as you get deeper into it, I realize I change workout modalities because there are times when I was like, I need to rage. These are going to be angry workouts. But
I want to, but see, that's the thing why I asked you about, because I watch all your workout videos on your Instagram, and I was like, I'm obsessed with this. I think that was the first thing when we followed each other back a while ago in Clever, and I was like, that's the first thing that popped up to me. Like, I was like, oh, I love these like videos he does, and I was like, this is before I even got into my journey. I was like, this is amazing, and so I actually want to like try jujitsu. Like, I want to try that. Yes, because I think that workout to me is like a playground.
That's you know correct. What I mean? And that is how we should approach it, and no one does.
Yeah, I think, and it's becoming more of like a, okay, I do this because I'm good at it. Like, I can run on the treadmill. I can do lunges. I can do all that shit.
Or because I have to do it.
Because that's the basic shit. But I was like, I want to get into like, fuck it, I want to even do parkour one time. Like, I just want to say that I did it because I wanted to like see what my body can do because I don't know. You know what I mean? And I think if you keep your workouts, like, I have a video coming up that I'm going to try out like laser tag workouts. Like, it's a place that you can. I want to take a video. I want to do a video there. And
I bet it's a great work. Every time I've ever done laser tag, you just drenched in sweat.
And I was like, I want to document that, and I want to do that. So that's definitely going to be part of the docu-series for that.
Let me know when you go. Maybe I'll go with you.
Yeah, you come. No, definitely. But I want to do that, and I want to like, even our shit, like, I want to film that too, because I want to like show like, I want you to teach me something I don't know. Like,
sure.
I've never done jujitsu. I can't even say it correctly.
No, so like, it's tricky for a while.
But jiu-jitsu. I watched you do it, and I was like, this is dope ass cardio, but you're like, you're working out these muscles. And I was like, you're doing like, but it's fun. It's like something different, you know?
I have some thoughts about that, because what I like what you were getting into now is a truly holistic approach. This idea that you are a whole system, and that like your brain is a physical thing as much as your body is, the chemicals, and that they definitely influence you. I mean, that's what you said about the testosterone thing earlier about army stuff. Like, that's the thing I noticed too in the past. If I go through phases of heavy lifting where I'm doing a lot of deadlifts and squats and shit like that, and like you're working out big muscle groups, like your legs and your butt, posterior chain, you actually do start, your hormone profile changes because you have these big stimulus, these big traumas basically that your body needs to respond to help grow and heal faster. You start producing more testosterone. You start acting a little more testosterone-y in the world. I've noticed I get hornier and I get a little bit more like bro-y. And really just starting to pay attention to that stuff and see like, okay, so there is, as much as I have hated myself or my body or resent even the idea of reality, or existence confuses me and I'm depressed and I have this question in my head of like, what the fuck is even real? I can do that all I want. and never get away from the fact that it's still all going through a physical lens. It's still a physical organ in my head, and the organ is no different than my heart or my liver or my fucking quads, right?
Yeah.
So like you start to get in this holistic conversation with like, okay, so it's a whole system that needs to be in dialogue with itself. I can't go like, I'm going to split off this. I'm not going to even pay attention to my physical health. It's just a mental thing I need to figure out, and vice versa. I'm just going to get, sometimes with body positivity stuff, I think it gets a little far in this direction of like truly ignoring that you will feel more positive about your body.
You went there.
We should get into this
because that's some real shit.
I realized recently, coming back to the patio workout stuff again that I do, and I've my whole life, I've fucking hated my body. I was like chubby as a kid. I felt like I was just a fat kid, t-shirts in the pool, all that shit, and felt like hated. To this day, I'll divulge my weird dysmorphia. My nipples, I feel so weird about them,
Really?
I'm like, they're fluffy and weird, and I gotta I'm gonna look so bad in these angles, and just, we all fucking hate our bodies. I hate my face sometimes. I'm like, who is that thing? And the weirdest thing is like years, even months later, you'll look at selfies in your phone or something that you're trying to get a picture for something. Definitely. And then be like, why did I fucking hate myself?
Yes.
Like, I look fucking great in these pictures. I think that about youth a lot. Anybody who's outside of high school now, maybe 10 years down the road, looking at yourself in high school, there's even if you like had acne or were chubby or whatever, there's a youthful thing where you're just like, I was beautiful. Why did that kid fucking hate himself? Yeah. Anyway, this holistic thing of being like, I realized the thing I've come to over years of trying different modalities and blah, 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 is that my favorite thing to do is go outside and feel what's going on. Yeah. And this idea that we go, oh, am I doing cardio or am I doing muscle resistance training? Am I doing HIIT? What modality?
I fuck with HIIT.
It's all great stuff. But to me, this idea that we're splitting things up in these component parts instead of just going like, your body doesn't know the difference between cardio and anaerobic. Your body just knows it's moving.
It knows it's breathing hard.
It's breathing hard. You're asking it to do something.
And my heart is beating too fast. I'm actually sick of this.
Same thing, flexibility, whatever. You're just like, your body's just being a body in the world.
I tell me and my best friend say all the time, we speak in like, I don't know if it's fourth person damn near, because we'll be like, oh, body don't like this. We always, like, if we're like, I don't know if we get like too high or like too stoned or something, or like if you eat too much or something, you're like, bitch, body don't live for this.
No,
and I'll be like, bitch, body, and if, say like you eat something like when you know you're about to poop like immediately. Yeah, you be like, oh, bitch, body want to poop. Body is over
got
this.
Things doing.
Body don't want this.
I think that's very appropriate to start that dialogue. The thing I always say about my body these days that I've come to understand is like, it's not me, but it is mine.
It takes about, she does her own thing. Oh, body does his own. That's why I'm like, oh, girl, body don't live for this. Body do not live for this. Because it's like, you're literally a walking organ, literally. And it's like, you have to, your brain controls, you control your brain, but your brain controls the rest of your body. Yeah. And like, even think about it when you sleep, you're not in control. Your body's doing what the fuck it wants to do. Right. So you think it's doing the same thing when you're awake and conscious. So, of course, when you eat something, like you could probably eat something that I can't, and vice versa.
There's probably vice versa. Yeah,
and
I mean, like my guts are like miserable. I'm
mine
like,
are too.
I pay so much attention. I mean, I'm trying to do probiotics. I can Metamucil every day now. It's a fucking godsend. I will tell everybody in the world it truly Metamucil. It's just psyllium husk, I guess. But I mean, if you have any weird gut stuff. I mean, we're not hiding anything or being ungross. It's all the poops that you are so great. I mean,
love poops.
Yeah, dude.
No, seriously, I tell people all the time, like me,
life changing.
And I tell my friends, like, I absolutely love. It's a good thing when my food can digest in like 2 hours. I'm like, I have to poop already. I was like, I love that. That means something is going okay in here. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like,
I mean, it depends how it's like. What's the quality of those 2 hours later? I mean, I've realized things. This gets gross, but like, I gotta be careful. Like sometimes I'll eat salad and then I just see salad in the bowl and I'm like, I don't know if that's good for me.
Yeah, I don't know if body lives for that. But no, that's real shit that you have to like sit down and think about all those kind of things and really get into. Like, if you really want to, like, as far as body dysmorphic like things, if you really want to change the way you look, or like, even first of all, make sure you're doing it for yourself.
Yes. Okay. So this is the thing. I switched off of, I was doing this bodybuilding thing because it was fun. And honestly, part of the thing was I was like, part of my real thought was like, I'm making a real run at this, reapproaching my life and career. And I was like, if I'm going to be somebody who still does on camera work, like, let me treat this a little more like my job and just acknowledge, even if I don't agree with it, I can change the norms once I've gotten to the position of power and say I don't believe in that and I hire different people. But if it's still going to be, I just don't want to create any barriers for myself in this industry. So I was like, let's just really approach it and do it, just get as snatched as possible. Like, let's take that off the table. But as I got into it, the funniest thing is like, as when I got again switched to go, I'm heavily going to do jujitsu and then go play around outside and do what my body feels like doing, stretching, moving weights around, having fun and moving. But especially just jujitsu, because jujitsu is like you're doing a thing. You're like getting good at fighting. You're problem solving with your body. The weirdest thing is like, even though probably my body looks quote unquote better, quote unquote, when I'm doing bodybuilding and cardio, whatever, I feel a million times less shame or fear about it, about being, taking my clothes off, whatever, than I do when I'm doing jujitsu, because I'm focused in the jujitsu on my experience of my body. What can it do? What does it feel like? How am I living in it? And it's no longer like, it's I believe drawing me into alignment with it instead of it just being this fucking curse, this suit I need to wear around that is too heavy or whatever. And I don't know. I think if you can ask yourself honestly, when I go to exercise, I'm quote unquote trying to get healthy or approach my dysmorphia or whatever. If you are truly doing it based from a place of like how you are feeling, how you are paying attention, are you doing it to create more joy and sense of possibility and gratitude of like, thank you, body, you can do this. You carry me around the world. You allow me to taste food. You allow me to see art and hear music. Like, thank you, body, for this. Feel the sun on my skin. And like, then do exercise, and from there, oh, damn, I can run. Oh, damn, I can like, the way my heart can beat.
I look at exercise like I want to see what my body can do, which is why I'm interested in doing different workouts. Because like just the traditional gym shit, you get bored with that. You know what I mean?
I think you do. And it's funny because I was doing such traditional stuff, and I hadn't done traditional shit in so long that it was actually really interesting for a while. See? And it became really meditative.
So that's why I'm like, I want to try different people's workouts to see what my body can do, because I don't know what I can do, because I was a fat kid. Like, I don't know what but the funny thing is, when I was a kid, I was very interested in gymnastics. So I'm want to get back into that, because like I could like the thing, I could like flip and like the little table handstand shits and all that. I could do all that. Now you can't catch me, but that's only because
I think you could get that back though.
I know I can though. It's only because I was so active as a kid. Like I was so active and I was so skinny, but like depression and all the other shit like added in, so that I gained so much weight. So now like my body is like cute, but now when I work out, it's not hard for me to work out, because like I know I can actually do it. My body knows it can do it.
Talking about that a little bit, because I think like about shame, about the feeling of shame that prevents you from going to the gym, or you've mentioned earlier like feeling judginess or something from other people.
It's the shame of like, I don't know. You'll go to the gym, you look at all these fit people, and you'll be like, okay, I feel like I'm being judged because I'm just not working. I'm just not starting. Like, I can't run as fast as this person on the treadmill next to me, or I feel like I can't run as long as this person on the treadmill next to me. So I'm like, oh, this is too much. And then you get into your head about like, okay, I'm coming to the gym all the time, but I'm still not seeing a difference. But I've noticed too, like, people will see a difference before you do. And I'm like, really? Because I'll tell you to this day, I'll be like, I still feel as big as I did when I first met you.
Sure.
And I'm like, but it's like, yo, no, you're not. Like, you're actually very small. Like, my friends to this day, they're like, bitch, you are getting small. And I'm like, okay, are y'all being just good friends, or like, what the fuck? Because I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But it's like, you have to step back and look at yourself and give yourself props. Like, yo, like, you're low key really doing this. Like, and
that I think is something to celebrate. Is you can really understand that, like, but the thing we're celebrating isn't like, oh, my body was bad, now it's good. No, it's about your ability to stay strong and really make choices and change things in your circumstances based off your choices. That's empowering, not the arbitrary, horrible, like, moral value that our culture associates. I think like that's the thing to make sure that you're acting from. Like, are you acting from a place of personal choice and interest in affecting some change over your circumstance in life? Fine, great. Please learn that power.
I'm also when you like working out and stuff, I'm also like low key interested to see how well my body can look, and that's just really.
Course.
I'm low key like I want to see how
though.
good. Like I want to see how I want to see the transformation for myself. So it low key makes you more like, okay, I gotta go.
But do even that's like you're approaching it from a positive. Like to me, like you're approaching it from like a sense of play.
Yeah.
Of like I have this one thing.
That's
what can I do with it?
What can I do with it?
Yeah, like no different than putting a fucking makeup on or dressing
no
nicely.
No different.
I think if you're acting from that place, that's healthy and actually fighting dysmorphia. I think the problem is the people
it's like
who
taking control of it.
Yes, actually, let me segue briefly. I was going to add this thing in because I've been trying to incorporate these articles or whatever, and that control is like a nice thing. So this article I got from a website, psychcentral.com, and it basically it's. We'll get into it. It seems off topic, but I think feeling in control of life may be the key to staying young is what it's about. And basically there was this study and they were studying elderly people who live in like retirement homes and stuff. And they said research suggests that a younger subjective age, or when people feel younger than their chronological age, is associated with a variety of positive outcomes in older individuals, including better memory performance, health, and longevity, said Jennifer Bellingtier, PhD of Friedrich Schiller University in Germany, who presented her research at the 2018 American Psychological Convention. And basically the new research shows that having a greater sense of control over their lives may help older adults feel younger, and that in turn could help improve their cognitive abilities and longevity and overall quality of life. So this idea being, okay, that basically the quote unquote feeling of being young, which we're talking to a lot of young people or whatever, who I think we can all feel very old, but we associate those words to mean tend to be like, old is like not liking yourself, a bad thing, degrading, not whatever. And that young in this sense will be like, just say it's meaning like in your body, feeling good about yourself, feeling sharp mentally and physically present and healthy. And this idea that this thing I thought was so interesting and related to this idea of dysmorphia and how we are approaching it and approaching our bodies, just the reality of this study saying just the feeling of being in control can add so much to your mental well-being. Yeah. And that like to have an objective look at that, and that being like, that demon though is the thing that you can chase and can get corrupted, and saying like, oh, well, I'm going to chase that control feeling of wellness, and it becomes a neuroses. Yeah. So it's like, to me, being able to be honest with yourself and dance that line between like, am I you? Because this is what's tough. The body positivity words and the things of mental health, like the world of mental health. There's so many things you can use to masquerade. Like with the body eating disorder thing, there's a thing they say if a teenager has a big change in diet and goes like, I'm only vegan, I'm only raw vegan, and they have all these moral reasons and quote unquote health reasons that they bring up to you, they say to parents like, that's fine and maybe true, but if that happens, just pay attention, because I mean, we live in LA. How many people do you know that use like, oh, I'm vegan as like an eating disorder excuse? So nobody gets on them and says like, I'm worried that you don't know what's going on, baby. You don't like what you see. But we have this language available to us now to masquerade a potentially toxic behavior as a good one. So this one of like control. Oh no, I'm being healthy. I'm just getting control of my thing. How you got to make sure you're being honest with yourself that like, that's what you're doing. Yeah. You're in control. You're not just trying to like deal with like, you're not just like,
you're like suppressing something.
Yeah. You're not perpetuating that you hate yourself with this behavior or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
But that's what body dysmorphia, like you really also, it goes hand in hand damn near. Cause it's like, your body dysmorphia low key comes from suppression, and it comes from depression. So you're like, you know what? Okay,
oh, you said that in your video, and I love that. What was it? It's like suppression is depression.
Yeah, suppression. It goes. It's like an order. It's like suppression, then depression, then body dysmorphia. Like it literally goes just like that. Yeah, because you're suppressing the fact that you don't like something, then you get depressed about it, and then now you just hate fucking everything. Right. So that's how my step was, at least, and so. It took a while, and that's the thing. I want to make sure that I make it clear that it's not easy to get out of this. And let me make that hella clear. Like, this is going to be a journey. I don't give a fuck.
I think arguably lifelong.
Yeah. Yes. Because I will go through this I will suffer from this for a long time. There's no medication you can take for body dysmorphia. You can go to therapy. You can talk about it, but it's still something that was it's like, that's why it's good to make a lifestyle change, because for me, I'm going to always have to be healthy. I'm going to always have to be on top of what I eat. I'm going to always have to be on top of working out and being fit, because I'm going to always have that haunting thing in the back of my brain of like, okay, bitch, now listen, we could have these burgers. We could fuck this up. but do you feel like being depressed later on because you look like you feel big? I don't have time for all that.
Well, and here's the funny thing about that too. If you're eating, and burgers actually think are like one of the things that actually macronutrient-wise might be bad. But let's say that bun and that ketchup has a lot of carbs in it, and you eat those carbs, and they create this insulin spike, and that insulin spike also creates like inflammation in your brain, which is a real thing.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, just not getting like too crazy, but like it is true that carbs create like more inflammatory effects. We all get bloated. We feel like inflamed. Your tissues blow up and are literally inflamed. But that's happening to your organs and stuff. And if you have any kind of food allergy, that'll exacerbate that. Or if it's something that's hard for you to digest. Or I think with carbs in particular, even like the quality of your food. Like if it's a really, like if you have like flat pasta made from like actual organic flour from Italy that they like grow it the way they used to, and that pasta usually doesn't bother me. But I eat like gross processed like GM, all this like all the nutrients stripped out. Like, they genetically modify, not even GMO, but like the breeding of it in the 70s. They changed wheat so you get much larger. The germ in America, the wheat germ part of it, the part we actually turn into flour, grew like bigger, so you get bigger yields, and they could like make more money off of it and also feed more people. This is when you get into food and politics of agriculture.
Now you get into agriculture.
Well, once you get into industrial agriculture, it becomes kind of tricky for me because obviously a lot of it's really fucked up. But the other reality is there's like twice as many humans on the earth as there were in the 70s.
Hello.
And like they need to be fed. And so when we get into, I mean, the point I was trying to make, and I'm getting off rail, because it's all one thing, is that like food affects how you feel physically, and as a result, like emotionally, and how you feel about yourself. So if you eat that burger and then you later get that voice in your head that says like you ate all this sugar and carbiness in the bun, maybe that's what's triggering it with the inflammation, and then it gives you these more depressing, mean to yourself thoughts. It's like there's not I think this about our country politically, honestly, is like if you look at the food that is available at a cheaper level, and even if you it's all trash. I mean, there's this study I read about years ago about, I think it was the Pima Indians who I think are in Arizona or something like that, and they did a study where like it's in a book called Good Carbs, Bad Carbs or something like that. Basically, all food is not created equal, and all carb is not created equal, and that like with simple carbs, this and this is a common story I think of. Actually, I think it has to do with like colonial genocide and like just basically principles of institutionalized control and suppression, where like native people would be given all this cheap processed food and like flour and processed canned lard and things like that, and they'd tend to get off, or like sugary drinks, and this is like poor food in the country in general is like, and just sold it and marketed to and given it, and the native people would get away from like what were their traditional diets, which were like usually much more protein heavy and fruit and vegetable heavy. And
that's the thing. Like I fuck with protein.
I
fuck with protein. I fuck with fruits and veggies, and I think that. And I'm learning my body through all this body dysmorphia shit too.
Well, this is the interesting thing is when they switch, some there were instances of these Pima Indians of people living in a caloric deficit, the book's called Good Calories, Bad Calories, and being like eating less calories than they were taking in, but still becoming obese because of the mechanism of inflammation and insulin spiking and the way fat storage works in the body, and it requires insulin spiking to work. So if you eat, and this whole thing. And you realize nutrition isn't just it's political in the sense that like if most of our country, including the not poor people, just people who are marketed to this garbage food that's industrial available, like, yes, this is normal good food, these soft drinks, this carb heavy food, whatever, and everyone's eating that, and everyone's got upset stomachs and bad gut bacteria, so you're not making serotonin for your brain, and everyone has inflamed tissues, so you're getting like more depression, which is what happened. They've done some studies of like inflammation as a depression causer of depression. If everyone's eating that way, is it any wonder that everyone's pissed off and mean and voting like an asshole and like electing these hateful people because they're just so toxic and aggressive?
That's very true.
Like, I really wonder what would happen if all of society like was suddenly eating like fruit and vegetables and just good quality, not like even to get like any, just what that would do to your mood and your brain just to have like better gut health, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just saying that because I think it's like, interesting to think like it's a chicken or egg thing. Like we associate moral qualities of like, I eat this burger, I'm going to be mad at myself as a moral failing later. But maybe some of those thoughts originate just from a chemical reaction of eating the thing, how that nutrition affects your brain. And then you start having these depressive, mean to yourself thoughts.
Yeah.
That there is like, I don't know. It's something to consider.
Okay, this is something, yeah. So that's what I was saying. Like, but you have a really good point as far as like the moral compass of it. But it's like when I eat like a burger, say if I do get a burger or whatever, but you get a lettuce wrap, you're like, okay, I feel better because one, you feel like you're not guilty like by eating this carb or like knowing that because.
There's no shame about your like destructive choices, quote unquote.
I think that one thing I'm still working on, and I'm still trying to get together, is learning my body, learning what makes
which
me
is hard
big,
to do.
learning what makes what gains me fat. Because my friends that can eat a whole truckload of shit, but I can't. But why do I get bigger than they do? You know what I mean? Goes down to metabolism, what my metabolism likes to break down, and what it doesn't.
Yep.
And so I'm low key taking that step with let me see how bread does. Well, let me see what the different with bread does for me.
Yeah.
Because I fuck with like a chicken sandwich or whatever, but what if I just eat the patty and like veggies and be cool?
Yeah.
And let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And so far, I don't get the bloating feeling. I don't get the being feeling really heavy. I don't get the feeling of like, oh, I'm depressed. I feel like, oh, that was a good meal. Oh, wow. I had Chick-fil-A yesterday.
Yes.
Shouldn't had it, but like I had a chicken sandwich with just lettuce, tomato, and pickle. And I had like some fries. It's like, you have to get fries.
Dude, fries are so good.
You have to. So, but I had that after I ate
fries also don't have gluten, and I think gluten is like not to like be the gluten, but gluten I do think is, even if you're not allergic to it, I just think it's harder to digest.
Because
and I think
once I ate that or whatever, without the bun, without like the excess shit, and just maybe like a cup of water with it, I felt literally after I ate, I was like, I feel good. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for eating that.
Yes.
And I was like, my body doesn't feel bad. Like I feel like I actually ate a nutrition. Like body felt like, this is good. Thank you. You know what I mean?
Well, paying attention to that is, I think, and I will say on that note, I would recommend trying, if anyone's out there that hasn't tried ever, switching to a diet that's basically higher fat and higher protein.
Oh no, that's good.
My aunt recently, she's lost like 70 something pounds on keto, and not just that, which is like a high fat diet and like almost no carb, and not just that, but like I've gone through phases, and it just like my mood feels better. My cognitive function improves. Better. Your brain needs fats to be happy.
And that's what I'm trying to get. So like now, eat more like I want to eat like more chicken stuff, and like go back to eating burgers again, but like eating like just a way of eating that's more clean for my body, because what's good for your body, for my body, is not maybe good for yours. So it's like I want to find, and I'm doing that with keeping the obsession with food, because I fuck with her heavy. But I have I have to find a way to make it like, okay, how do I fuck with this food? But like when I go out to eat, I shouldn't eat that because I know it's going to fuck me up. You know what I mean?
Well, I think as you get older, that gets easier too, just because like your tissues are like, when we joke about this like gut health and stuff like that, I really have had enough times now where I'm just like, I just do not want to deal with how my stomach's going to feel if I eat that thing that's going to taste real good right now.
But it's going to fuck me up.
I haven't been drinking this year, and it's been like that. I love drinking. I love it. And I
would say the only thing that's fighting my health journey, the only thing that like is like a Mortal Kombat match is weed.
I am right there with you.
That's the only thing that fucks me up.
I've been getting munchies so hard lately.
The munchies are I don't know what. I'd be like,
if I get munchies, there's ice cream in the house, get the fuck out of here.
I don't care.
Oh yeah, I've been doing it a lot lately too.
Like, oh no, but it's like the only thing, because I can control myself, and I've noticed that I can control myself against cravings. Sober, like I can do it without a problem.
But
weed, once weed comes into play,
I will say this. The nice thing at least about weed is like, because I think I get munchies when I was drunk too. You get like drunk.
You definitely get munchies when you're drunk.
At least with weed, you're only dealing with what you eat, and not like the alcohol really is like sits in your body. And talk about like the carb, the insulin spiking thing, and how it affects your mood. Alcohol just gets processed as sugar in your body.
Oh wow!
So that's why a lot of times if you get super drunk and pass out, you'll wake up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. and be like, I'm awake. Why am I so awake? It's because your body broke down into sugar. Suddenly gets this burst of energy because like, I got all these carbs. I'm awake now. I'm so awake.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's also why I think sometimes even not like drinking, if I have a day like I just fucking go Cheesecake Factory and get crazy or like whatever, eat a ton of sugar, feel like hungover the next day. My knees hurt and my elbows because I'm such an inflammation response. And it's the same as like drinking alcohol and getting a ton of sugar in your body.
Oh, wow.
And then what you're talking about too, like the insulin spike and the sleepiness and all that stuff, it's all just because you're just drinking sugar water, basically.
Oh, wow.
I also noticed like my face more, like when I stopped drinking, like I think it's just less like general bloat in my face.
I don't understand. I fucking hate the bloat in my face, but that happens when I eat a lot of water and bread and together because they go together and they soak up each other.
If you drink just a lot of water though and start cutting stuff out, I do think I do. Water is one of those things you just be like, everybody just hydrate. I joke, I say it all the show, like self-care, hydrate. Water is just so fucking good for you. It sounds so obvious, but
I fuck with her heavy. But also, she can't get you bloated too. But one good round of cardio, that water weight is gone.
Oh yeah, I would say also, and of course with the caveat of like, not that it matters. Your self-worth has nothing to do with if your face is like bloaty or not today, or whatever. But if you were looking for strategies, no. But the with the weed thing, I've started like I realize, especially when I'm high, there's like just textures and things I'm looking for, you know? And so I've started to substitute.
We say in this house, we say, I just want something in my mouth.
I
just need something in my mouth.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is. I can't tell you what it is, but I just want something in my mouth.
The texture and a feel I need.
I just need a fry, but I don't want the taste. I just need that.
Yes.
Just that, you know what I mean? And I'm good. Then I'm good. But then it happens so what I do now is when I go grocery shopping, I turn like my high brain on. Like, okay, let me find my high brain. Where's the THC in my body? Let me think about it because I know what I want to taste. So like, I got like banana chips and shit.
Hell
like,
yeah.
I fuck with her heavy.
So that's what I try to do is now because I know fucking ice cream is my shit and I'm like, I just fucking need ice cream. Like, I literally just have like a stick blender to make like smoothies, you know? And so I keep like frozen fruit, which is like at least has like fiber and some, you know, there's still like sugar in it, but
so
it's
when
like,
high, it's like,
so I'm high. I dump that in. I dump some like cake batter, protein powder, and it's all, it's like ice cream.
And it's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's so sweet and cold, and that's all I want. Creamy.
Still to this day, I still get a bag of Doritos to this day.
Dude, Doritos are so fucking good.
So I would just get one bag though, but I'll get like a fruit cup.
You know, like, also like thanks to Trader Joe's and shit, there's like better versions of Doritos than Doritos. If you want, you can still get the same, like Doritos are very
It's the texture thing. But like if I want something sweet, but I don't want to like fuck up my diet or whatever, then I get like the fruit cups and like just get the ones that have like actual fruit juice and not the high fructose corn syrup or whatever. Right. And that shit is bomb. I'm good.
I think if fruit, as long as you're eating like fruit as fruit.
Yeah.
Like there's some studies too about like I saw about basically like if you took the same nutrients that's in fruit just by themselves, it like hits you as sugar and fructose is like not a very good sugar for your body. But if you eat it in fruit, there's some mystical, magical, like nature quality where like it actually just doesn't affect you the way, like if you just took the same amount of fructose and just ate it like syrup versus like eating it in the fruit with the fiber and the micronutrients. I don't know. I think we're like, it's pretty clear no matter what sugar, whatever, it's like, if it basically is what it was on the earth, like it's probably fine. Yeah. Like, and the further down the line of like fucking with it that you get, probably.
That's what keeps you fucking.
Damn, we're going strong. I could just keep doing this. I kind of want to, I think I should like sort of shift into the like 6 questions part. And I think because I wanted to talk a little more about dysmorphia specifically, so maybe that'll be part of the first question.
I got you.
Do you want to pee or anything? Do you want a pee break or anything? Okay, well, I think we're doing good. Usually I take a pee break right now, but I'm like, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'm good.
So the first of my 6 questions is always like, have you ever been diagnosed with anything like a mental thing? Like I have ADHD and depression diagnosed, but as we talked about this, like I've never talked to a doctor about it, but for sure I think dysmorphia is something. I mean, I have it so fucking much still. Yeah. It's like, because I think we got on this a little bit earlier, but I kind of want to revisit it maybe too, is about like that the voices, no matter how good, like kind of don't go away. Yeah. There's a feeling to me like if I ever think I'm done with this, I'm done with my depression, I'm done with hating my fucking self or whatever, that's when those voices will come back with a vengeance. And the point is to develop tools and new understandings of yourself to deal with it. But anyway, I just relate to that. So yeah, my question is, what do you got?
So, well, when I was in college, I discovered I had anxiety. Okay. I had an anxiety attack at a movie theater. And I was like super duper cold. I turned really, really cold. I couldn't stop shivering. I couldn't like open my mouth to form a sentence. And just shaking. And when we got in the car, I turned the heat on full blast and I was still freezing cold. So I don't know what triggered, to this day, I still don't know what triggered my anxiety that day. Yeah. But it happened again.
Was it with friends or by yourself?
I was just with my boyfriend at the time. And then when I got...
And where'd you grow up? Where were you?
Where was I? It was a movie theater, but it was like in Ohio. I was in
you're
Ohio.
from Ohio. Yeah,
yeah. I'm not from Ohio. I'm from Michigan, but I went to school in Ohio.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So...
Midwest, though.
Yeah. So then I had another one when I was in the bed randomly sleeping, and I woke up to an anxiety attack, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" So, but I haven't had one of those episodes in a long time. So it could have been stress too, because I could have just me and my ex were just terrible. So it could have been that. Yeah. So I have that. I have anxiety. I know I definitely have I'm claustrophobic.
Oh yeah.
I'm claustrophobic bad though, to the point where even when I was a kid, I couldn't sleep with the covers over my head. I can't do that to this day. I don't fuck with that.
Are you okay in elevators and stuff like that?
Depends. Like small elevators, oh girl, please. I'm like, okay, let's hurry up, let's get this over with. It's to the point where when I like roller coasters that lean back and like you have to lay on your back, I'm having a full episode. Because the bar that comes down and like you can't see this way, I feel like I'm trapped somewhere. So I can't do that. But I will. But it's like, can we hurry up? Let's start moving. So once I start moving, my brain registers like, oh, we're not trapped. Okay. I can't get like towels over my face. Like I can't wear like those masks that go like half here. Because like, or cover up your nose. Like, because I feel like I'm locked somewhere.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I have claustrophobia bad. Like if I'm like playing like wrestling and stuff, that's why I used to freak out in chokeholds. It's not the fact that it hurts, of course but also like I feel like I'm trapped. Like, I'm freaking out.
If you do ever decide to try, that's like very much jujitsu. Is like if you have claustrophobic problems, it might not be for you, but it also might be good for you in the long run. Because that's why I love jujitsu. Was I ended up I'll just do the long story short version. Is like it became a really easy metaphor for tools for my real life, like depression, anxiety, whatever. When someone's trying to choke you, that's such a claustrophobic, fucked up feeling that like is like very literal and real, especially in the somatic sense of like someone. And in jiu-jitsu too, like the first time, like wrestling in general, I guess, but especially jiu-jitsu because someone's trying to tap you out is like, when you're with someone better than you have never done it before, the feeling of true helplessness and being like, oh my God, like any fantasy I told myself ever of like, nothing could ever, I would just never agree. I'd fight all like, that's bullshit. Like you can get out. It's a scary feeling the first times it happens. Ultimately, I think a very healing feeling because of ego death and just learning to accept things you can't control and whatever. But in life, when I get those anxieties and depression things that like really like the whole world's closing in, knowing through jiu-jitsu that I learned like, okay, well, I know how to calm down here. I know I only make it worse when I freak out. I know that like I can start working my escapes. What tools do I have to try? What techniques do I have to try? And urgently, because the longer I stay here, the worse it gets for me. Yeah. But urgently, but calmly and like specifically.
That's why like I couldn't play like when we do like, we like try to dunk your friend and like pulls.
No way.
Couldn't play with that. I'll have a whole panic attack. And even though I know you're not trying to hurt me, it's just like the pushing my head down. I can't control gumming back up. I'll die. I'll like literally come up breathing heavy.
It does feel like attached to this idea of control, of like how much can you control.
Kinda, yeah. But I want to break it so bad. I want to get over that so bad. I don't know how, but it's claustrophobia is such a mental thing. It's a heavy mental thing.
Do you feel, is it connected to dysmorphia for you at all? The reason I'm asking is like just the parallel that I am drawing. I mean, obviously, I think it's hard to see anything that's not connected to anything else, but you know, dysmorphia, in my lived experience and just what I feel like I've heard too, is it creates a sense of like you're stuck in this thing that you hate, like this thing that's you.
It, but
like you're in it and it's there and it's part of you.
Wow, yeah. That's some deep shit.
I know,
that's
something to think about.
That's some Dr. Phil shit. Now I'm sitting here thinking like, what the fuck? Maybe that's low key. Maybe I'm like claustrophobic inside my fat or something. I don't know.
I mean, I feel. I've actually described in the past a lot of my physical practices that are the best for me are basically just about making my body feel less like a prison.
Yeah. And so on top of that, I have ADD. And then on top of that,
do you?
I have ADD bad.
Yeah, I have it bad. Are you taking anything for that?
I used to when I was a kid.
That's my next question. Is like, you take any medication for any stuff or therapy or anything? But
I did therapy for ADD. Yeah. I did therapy.
Didn't help?
Still too much. Still can't keep a track on my brain. I feel like I have something else, but I just can't think about it. I know it's claustrophobia, ADD, depression, anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay, so like the the typical like brain shit.
You know what's funny is because
but see the thing also before you about to get into that,
yeah.
Black people do not get into mental health.
Okay, I want to talk about this.
So that's why
I've had people ask more to like. I got messages like talking about cultural influences. I had somebody like Australia asked me like,
we don't like Black people do not believe in mental health for some reason. Because we're scared of it. We're scared of doctors and being told that you're fucked up, and it's like, oh no, this is just a ticky ticky boing. I'll be okay. No,
what'd you call it? Ticky ticky boing.
A ticky ticky boom boom. Yeah. Like okay, but it's like yes, you are fucked up. It's okay. Your brain it works differently than others, and
that's interesting because that does culturally make sense
too.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing. My sister's that.
Oh
my sister's
God.
That.
Yeah, I'm dyslexic because I can mix up words and that's why I like public speaking and stuff. I think I have a stutter problem too. I really am fucked up, but I embrace it. Trust me. But it's just like. I think that because my brain produces thoughts faster than my mouth can move.
I relate to that.
So I stutter a lot. And dyslexia will be dyslexia because when I read, I can jump up letters and flip them around and like, what the fuck? Like I've actually was in class like, what the fuck? But I can read good, but it's like, it just comes when it wants to.
I know what you mean.
So that's why I was not good in math and stuff because it's too much. It's just too much. My brain can't literally break my brain. I used to go like to hardcore tutoring and my brain literally just could not grasp.
I know.
Graphs and all that. It needs to be plain and day. So yeah. I was in special ed as a kid.
Interesting.
For majority of till like 9th grade actually, and almost in college. I just because my brain just can't comprehend a lot of stuff for some reason.
That's so interesting because like that's like I'm not gonna go as far as saying like oh that's so tragic, but kind of is like I think there is a thing in this country of like there kind of is one way you're allowed to be smart, you know, and if you don't fit in that, it's like we don't know what to do with you. Yeah. And I get it. I get like the realities of like where we're at society-wise, trying to like catch up. Like we could be doing agriculture and education and health so much better, but it's frustrating because you're evidently a very intelligent person and you're very creative and present and like thoughtful.
My parents are fucking amazing. My grandparents raised me, so my birth parents are like. We're not close, but
do you know them though?
No, okay. Me and my dad, like, hey, but we're just not close. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have nothing against them, but like foster care and stuff was it's a lot of traumatizing things that happened in my life. So that has a lot to do with my mental health. So yeah. But fast forward, my parents are fucking amazing. My grandparents that raised me are fucking amazing because they are Black, powerful people. Like my granddad is a president and CEO of a multi-million-dollar company.
Wow.
And my grandmother is an optometrist. So I lived with that and I lived in like people that are hella successful and like how they break down shit. And like I was raised in a household like grades are like you're going to work. You know what I mean? So like you look at school as like you're going to work, but have fun. But like look at school like so when you come home, like we're like your bosses. Like this is my report, girl. You know. But my granddad, as punishment, used to make me sit down and like do 100 words in a dictionary and learn it. Like and write them out and like study the definitions. And he'll sit me down and like this was my punishment for fucking up in school. I'll get a whooping still too, but still.
Would you really?
Oh yes. Oh
how do
yes.
you feel about? I mean,
how do I feel about whoopings?
A million questions about this.
How do I feel about whoopings? I'm divided because this is the thing. Do I believe in like putting your hands on your kid? Not for real. Not honest. I'm not going to do it with my kids. But because my grandparents are from the fucking 1950s and shit, like this is you know that's how they were taught. You know, so. They thought that discipline was to put your hands on you. However, I had the best of both worlds. My grandmother was with a heavy hand. My grandfather was not. My grandfather put his hands on me probably one time when I was 9 because I was just I was just a badass little kid that didn't listen. So he just probably popped me one time with a belt. My grandfather, other than that, to this day, has never put his hands on me. He was always the one that fucked me up mentally. Like, I'll take your TV away. I'll put my granddad's like the king of putting you on punishment.
Which is, I think, also much more reasonable. Like, when you're a
my
kid,
grandmother,
it's like learning that like you're gonna lose privileges is like, you know, help.
But like
me
and my grandmother, like she didn't like traumatize me like with whipping me or anything. Like she didn't like whoop me to the point where like, oh my God, I had bruises or something. Not at all. Yeah. It was very much like a boy, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like this is like she looked at it as. That's why I'm like 50-50 about it. Because I'm like, I get it, but I hate it. Like, I wouldn't do it now. Like,
I know
whatever. But my grandmother doesn't even whoop my little cousins that are terribly bad. They're good kids, but like, they're they're loud or whatever, but she doesn't
Yeah.
believe in putting her hands on them like that for real anymore. But
And maybe that's just she's
grown out of it. Like,
yeah.
you know what? I'm too old for all that, and we're not
Yeah.
going to do all that.
Well, I think when you're younger too, there's like more impulse. Like,
I think it was definitely some things were impulsive with her too, but like it was more of a way of teaching me, what's the word I'm looking for? When you do something consequence, I guess.
Yeah.
More of a like, let me get to you before the law gets to you.
Yeah.
And so it was
That's
like, because
interesting.
police will beat, because I'm a black man, they'll beat me first.
Yeah.
So she was like, let me show you what they will do to you on the streets, whatever. But she didn't beat me like that. But like, you know what I mean? Like my grandmother never beat me. I never got beat. My mother did, which was while I was in foster care. And with my nana knowing that I got beat, and like actually beaten and pushed downstairs and stuff, she never would whoop me to the point where I would feel like I'm back there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she knew like, okay, baby, don't need that. This is still my baby. I'm not going. But it was more of like, you're wrong, and this is why you're wrong. And my grandmother, after she would whoop me, will always give me a 2-hour talk. She was like immediately, and she'll let me cry and whatever and be mad about it. And she'll call me downstairs and we'll have a whole conversation over like marshmallows and like some Cheetos or something.
Well,
and we'll sit down
actually
and she's like, this is why I did this. You know, I'm not doing this because I hate you. I did this because this is wrong. And, you know, I don't want to she's like, I hate putting my hands on you. I don't like doing that. It hurts me more than it hurts you, believe it or not. And this is what it is. She's fucking, like my grandmother, I used to hate, like, why would you do that? But like, she will always like take me out to like, we'll go shopping after I got a whooping or something. Like not for me to like reward me, but more of like, I still love you.
No, but I think what you're describing
you know what I mean?
is so fucking important to talk about that, like, and I, you know, obviously super ignorant about this stuff. I'm a fucking white guy. I've grown up, you know, with that privilege my whole life. But like, even the distrust of institutionalized ideas about health or quote unquote normalcy, you know, like neurotypical, there's so much of that is without the context of the social constructs of race and the political implications.
It does.
Well, you just said about your grandmother being like, I think she's worried about the real consequence for you as a black man, and being like, if I don't incorporate this to some degree.
I
mean, and then the fact though that she follows it with like a ton of dialogue and you know, compassion, I think changes the thing, especially for a young mind. Like, I think that's if you are beaten with no context or communication or whatever, like, dude, you're gonna get fucked up your whole life.
Yeah. But see, I'm not even a violent person like that. Like, if I'm not confrontational or anything, but and also,
I'm not condoning this, obviously, with what I'm saying, but you are creating a context and an understanding around this that's very different. And I think
it's very different. I think that people need to talk about that because we have a big thing about like whipping your child and like how that's just so fucking terrible. And I was like, I understand that to a certain degree. I actually agree with what people say about that. However, coming from a household that the male in my house did not touch me. My grandfather did not make me feel less of a man by putting his hands on me. He would literally sit me down and tell me, you did this. I'm disappointed in you. Him saying he's disappointed in me hit me way worse than somebody hit me with a belt.
Disappointment is a million times worse.
Like my fucking idol. You know what I mean? And
because it also implies a belief in you.
Yeah. Because my granddad is so fucking dope. And like my granddad is like a big ass powerful guy. Like when I walk into his office and you have all these people working for him and they like look at you like, we don't want to piss you off because you're my boss's like kid, you know? Mm-hmm. And for him to still treat me like, you know, like he was the guy that took me to baseball games and everything. And when I came out, he was like, cool, so what's for dinner? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So from him to say like, I'm disappointed in you, it was like, whoa, oh right, I'm shit. I feel like shit. But my grandmother, because she's a woman, a black woman, that was raised in the civil rights activist like days, whipping her kid was more of like protecting them. Was like, okay, before they fuck you up, let me teach you how to act because I don't want them to, I don't see my kid behind a jail.
Yeah.
That's what their mental thing is. But now, like current parents are like, well, no, I want to make me and my friends are like friends or like whatever. It's like, and it's like, I get that way. But I low key liked the way that my grandmother raised me because it was like, my whippings were not in vain. She didn't whip me for no reason. She didn't put her hands on me for no reason. She didn't like just hit me just because. She would just always, it was a sense of respect and it was a sense of love. It was like, yo, let's talk about it. My grandmother sometimes would talk to me before she whooped me. It was like, before we get to this point that you know you want to get to, let me tell you where you fucked up. And I'd be like, oh, okay, now I understand.
Interesting.
And then after I have this, we go through this whole whipping situation. And she'll sit me down and we'll be like, yo, like, and she'll tell me like, I love you, but that was wrong. And I don't want to see you do that again. You know what I mean? And so now me and my grandmother are fucking closer than ever.
Yeah. It's like, there's a true sense of like, really wanting you to understand how to exist in a society, and that's why she's so proud of me
making this kind of thing. I'm 24 and I moved all the way to California by myself and having a whole career that I'm running, a business.
Right.
And she's like sitting back like, wow, okay, we did a fucking good job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I tell them all the time, like, yeah, y'all did that. My grandmother, and I can talk to my grandmother about my sex life, my love life, my mental health. She actually asked me like, what's going on with your body dysmorphia? What's going on with your like,
wow.
No, she's like, that's why I'm like telling
so what's that? Cause that's the question I wanted to ask too, like with your grandparents, cause you said the thing about that in, Black communities that you don't feel like mental health is a thing. Was it different for you specifically?
It was different for me, but I know a lot of people that's in the Black community, that's like my Black friends, whatever, that don't have that same support.
Yeah.
Which why they grow up to be hatred or self-hated to themselves or feel like, oppressed, because that's in the Black community, there's a such thing as oppression.
Of course.
So that's why it becomes, that's when the broken homes, the broken families, it goes deep.
The whole thing, hurt people, heal people, heal people.
That's what it is. And my grandmother took a broken child that went through foster care in a court system from a woman that literally used to beat the shit out of me and let me get molested. It's a whole other situation that I'm coming. Oh, it's like, but she took that kid and paid thousands of dollars to the government to get me out of foster care.
Oh, which is fucking crazy.
I'm your own blood, but I have to pay to get you out.
Oh my God.
Took the kid and nurtured me to what I am today. And that's why I'm like, when people ask me like, oh my God, you're so fucking cool and you're so fucking down to earth or whatever. And it's like, you would never know. My past is fucking terrible. It's traumatic.
Yeah.
But because of my dope ass parents, they gave me a dope ass childhood. Like I had dope ass friends and I traveled the United States with my parents because they had power to do so. And they showed me a different way of living to help people. Like my grandparents, literally their way of living and literally their livelihood is helping people. My grandmother, do you know what Meals on Wheels is? Mm-hmm. My granddad is the president CEO of that.
Wow.
So he literally goes door to door helping people.
He made a whole fucking career out of literally just
helping people. So it's amazing. You know what I mean? So which
is amazing because that's what you're doing.
And that's what I do.
I mean, like I do think it's a radical act in general to like, when you're open about your fucking troubles, like I think it inherently creates humanity and possible for healing for people who hear it, who see themselves.
And especially being double oppressed, being Black and gay, it's important for me to preach and like have a platform, be like, okay, we talk about pop culture and shit, and this is fun and this is amazing, but like there's real shit going on, and like
always.
That's why I'm trying to preach mental health too, because I have a really big white audience, to be honest, but I have a nice Black audience too, and I have a like Latina audience and Latino audience, and I want to like merge all of it together. So
I definitely think it's definitely seems, I think it's worse in marginalized communities because of what you said. There's like less space in society for you to be fucked up, to be allowed, like it will punish you for being anything outside the lines way worse than it'll punish a white person. But definitely in American culture in general, there's definitely like a huge stigma still around, like admitting you're fucked up at all, admitting things that happened years ago still fuck with you, and being able to process those out.
So that's why it's important for me to make these like because I'm doing a documentary soon about my mother and like confronting her on camera, and it's a whole situation. But it's only because I want to show people that foster care that you can make it out of foster care and be successful as the fuck.
Please do that.
You know what I mean? Because the system is already fucked up alone, and like I even want to adopt a kid out of foster care. Like that's one of my things.
Yeah.
Like, so
I'm thinking about that's such a weird. I was literally talking the other day, my girlfriend, about that because we're not looking. I mean, probably gonna miss the like having kids window. You know what I mean? But also like I have no interest to right now. Either. And part of the reason is because like I definitely don't feel worried about us perpetuating the human race. Like, there's fucking plenty of fucking people on this planet. Doing it, and there's plenty of people who probably could use. And also, like, this is the just me being like terrible. But I'm like, I don't know. Babies aren't like puppies are cuter than babies.
Yeah, and I can manage the puppy, but maybe I can find like a human, a little human.
Yeah, but like a cool like 8-year-old or something like that. I'd be like, hey, let's just start hanging out. I'm gonna help you out through life.
I can fuck with that.
I'll help feed you and just try to help you chase your dreams, and it'll be great.
go. That's why I like mentoring people. That's really low key. Like, it's just like, but I do, like, once I settle down and like whatever, I do want to like adopt a kid out of foster care because I understand like that. I want to do what my grandmother did for me to someone else.
Well, it sounds too like you have something feels similar to my situation in the sense of like my family, my sense of like what a family is like all different, like marriages and remarriages and siblings and like whatever. And like family really is like who shows up and who sticks around and who you commit to. And so to me too, there's something about like you can make family, you can be there for somebody in their life and be their family in so many ways that aren't just fucking squirting out a kid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's very true. That's very, very true.
And probably more necessary. Probably more like.
And so now like my family's like very close knit and we do go through shit. Definitely.
Are you guys like expressive? Like with like my family's like very close knit and very explosively expressive. Yes. Yeah. I think this is an important
Thanksgiving
thing.
and Christmases are loud.
Yeah.
Oh, the house is just loud. And I love every piece of it.
Do you ever have? If I ever brought like significant others or one of our siblings, somebody brings a significant other. It is like a fucking Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. We live. I hate and I loathe bringing somebody I'm dating to for like holidays and shit.
Yeah.
I'm scared for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's so sink or swim.
Yes.
It's like you find out real quick if they're gonna hang or not.
You. Like either you click or you don't. That's literally my family, and they'll let you know. You'll feel the energy in the room. Like
it's funny too because there's a little bit of that for sure. And for me, ours also. I almost think it's like insidious in a way where like they just don't act different for you.
For nobody.
So it's like we're gonna be our same
you walk
weird
into
loud
this weird shit.
Yeah.
Of like my family is just so crazy, and I love it because that's where I got it from.
Yeah.
But like you walk into this like there's more of you kind of situation.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, y'all all act like this? And then it's like, okay. So that's why when I'm dating, I low key try to find people that's like themselves. Like you have to be yourself. And if you can get through me, you'll be all right with my grandmother. Because my grandmother,
right?
I told my grandmother, I said, you turned into a gay man when I came out. I said, like you low key came, like she is like, she's into it. Like she knows some of the lingo. She uses it. I'm like, oh my God.
Amazing.
So what happened? So if you can get through me, you can get through my grandmother, you're fine. You've made it because everybody else will fall in line or whatever.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
On the heels, we'll just keep tied into that. Do you ever try any medication or therapy or anything that helped you or didn't help you or anything related to mental health stuff?
I had to take Ritalin when I was a kid.
How did you feel when you were a kid?
Yeah.
What was that like as a kid?
My grandmother hated every piece of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know the severity of it, but like my grandmother hated it. So she fought the therapist and like proved to the therapist like he doesn't need
How old are you?
Like 10.
That's young, man.
Yeah, on Ritalin trying to dumb myself
I take
down.
Adderall now. I take like,
I was on Adderall too.
Now. Yeah, but I didn't start taking it ever in my life till I'm 32. And I can't imagine, it has been very helpful for me. And I've been learning so much more about ADHD since getting diagnosed and and it's very fucking helpful to realize, it's a real thing. A lot of my behaviors I thought were just personal, like a million people have them. Great. And the medication helps. But for a kid, for your brain when you're a kid, because I take like small doses and as a 32-year-old, like fine sized man, it's like, wow, this is a real drug that you're taking.
Drug. And my grandmother, that's why she hated it so much. Yeah. Because she saw what it did to me. She was like, oh, no. You're not even expressive. What the fuck is
weird?
Like I was a zombie. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So she was like, you don't need this. You don't fucking need this. And my grandmother and my grandfather, like low key, high key, trained my brain or like helped me to believe in that I don't need it. So now that I'm 24 and been off that shit since I was like 11. Yeah. I can have a civilized conversation and be focused. I can be focused on what I need to do. I'm just focused. I'm like, oh wow, maybe I didn't never need it. But that's crazy. That's psyche though. That's it's funny how psyche can work.
It's funny because this little notebook I have in front of me has been part of like with the ADHD stuff. So first, I took medication. It was like night and day. It's fucking awesome. But it doesn't take long to realize, okay, all this is doing is making me able to use tools better, but I still need to use tools. I still need habits and practices. Like I make a to-do list every morning and just putting a list of things. Sometimes it'll just say dishes. It'll even say like shower or like just like even, just because otherwise I'm so overwhelmed by the constant input of my own thoughts in the universe that I just kind of freeze up sometimes and then don't get anything done or get lost in my phone scrolling through the same 2 apps or whatever, 3 apps. Yes.
Oh my God.
So I don't know. So just like
So I need
figure
to
out strategies.
I will say one thing: my ADD still fucks me up is my organization skills.
Oh yeah,
fucking foul, fucking trash. So
yeah,
I think that I need to work on that. But now, I have friends that are amazing.
Yeah, you're getting like
and they help me out. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, thank you, because I'm not good at this by myself.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, cool. Let's go to question 3. What's something that's cheesy but very inspiring to you that you find inspiring?
Believe in yourself.
Just that idea.
Just that.
Yeah.
It's so fucking Disney Channel.
It is.
But it's literally amazing.
I know.
Like, believing in yourself and chasing your dream is like the most Walt Disney thing you could say. But he had it was very true.
Yeah.
Like, once you manifest something, like, girl.
Let's talk about that. What do you mean? Like how does that show up in your life?
The house we're sitting in right now.
Yeah. Nice place, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But this is like, this was a dream. This was a manifestation. This was when I was 14. I said, I want to be a fucking YouTuber. This is before YouTube was even a thing. Like,
yeah, we're talking 10 years ago. So you're like right on the when it's popping.
Yeah, so I was like, I want to fucking live off this shit. I want to be able to make my own content and live off of it. Like, that's fucking crazy. And I chased it even through college. Got a degree about it. And I was like,
what was the degree? Like
communications broadcasting.
Yeah.
And I said, I really want to, got a bachelor's degree. And I was like, I really want to move to LA. This is 14. I want to move to LA. I want to have a nice ass place. I want to have friends that do the same thing I do. And we like literally just create. 10 years later, here we are. Yeah. And it's just like, if you really, really believe it. And now, even to this day, now I have a new goal. I want to be well respected in the music industry. Be able to hire people to get people jobs. I want to be able to help people that don't know about themselves and inspire them. I want to be a big ass inspiration to people so they can fuck it up, and then I can pass the baton to someone else.
I think that what you just described. Well, 2 things. One, I want to say, like, what time frame? We're talking about 10 years.
This is only 10 years. So now at 34, hopefully I'm in that predicament.
But that's, I think, important to point out for everybody. Like, a dream, quote unquote, a belief, a vision you have to hold takes a. It has to be honest. It has to be true, because he's gonna have to sit with you a long time. Because
I don't have 1 million subscribers like everybody else, like that I'm around.
Quote unquote, everybody else, right? It always feels like it's everyone.
However, my engagement is so fucking amazing because it's core people that really fuck with me.
I heard a thing one time, like before even new media and stuff like that, they said all it takes is like 1,000 true fans. And
you're good.
If you like, that was in the days of like, who will buy, if you're a musician, they'll buy you the albums you put out,
that's real shit.
And you can have a life off of that.
You can have a living, and I'm fine. Like, I'm so okay. And that's
I feel that way about this podcast.
Yeah.
There's like a decent amount of folks who listen to it, and a very small amount who like contribute to it monetarily. But that small amount is. You might not think you're significant in the world, but it's like the waves that people make in supporting you. And what you said too has been a newish thing for me, getting out of my own head, my own pain, my own like nothing fucking works out and blah, blah, blah nonsense. Part of it was being like, no, I want to help people. I want to be more generative to my family and create opportunities. I can't do any of that if I'm always broke, always like, and that's the thing, nothing works out.
And now I'm in the point in my career where I'm looking at different ways of revenue, where it's just like, I need to not be comfortable with one stream of revenue. I need to be able to like branch off into other shit that I'm actually really kind of good at. So it's like,
you show me like your clothing line.
My merch is coming out, and then like, I have like a thing where like on YouTube now that's just like Patreon. Yeah. It's like you can do different perks, but like now I'm using that tool to make an exclusive show for my show that's already big on my channel that we have an after show where I'm very intimate with my Tired Ass Army. Shout out to y'all. So it's like,
dude, I love that. By the way, Tired Ass Army is so good.
But it's an exclusive show. I don't want to even though if it gets big, that's a lot of money for me, but that money is going towards production cost. Yeah. So like, the documentaries I want to make and like hiring people, that money is not just going to be me. I really
admire that too, because like,
and I'm very open about that. Like with them, like, yes, please pay for that because you're going to pay for. Well,
and also there's nothing wrong with you got to take care of yourself.
Oh, definitely.
Like you got to be alive, and be well, and like, dude. I mean, I can probably count on one hand the number of friends I have that like have savings or any kind of like future. So like, this is something. Totally,
that's this kind of like making merch and like doing like the crowdfunding situation. That's money saved for me, and like brand deals and stuff like that. That's money that I'm putting away. Like And that money is not even necessarily all going to me because I'm taking care of like my little cousins and brothers and stuff back at home and like making sure their life is okay. Yeah. So it's like, and I mean their parents are amazing too, but I'm just a fucking
you're part of
cousin,
yes,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
So, and I want to give them a nice ass childhood, you know? So that's my drive, is to make a shitload of money, yes, for me, but like to help other people. Like, and when I hire people, help them families. Like, and that's funny because just I think
that's real. I think that's real.
Shit. Like even my cinematographer, like the person that films my videos and my graphic designer are up and coming people in LA. Like I don't have like the greatest person that everybody goes to. Like I like to find people that's like me, like that has a dream. I mean, that's good as fuck at what they do, but maybe don't have the numbers to back it up. Sure. That's okay.
Well, that passion and that community is so like, I mean, I had that realization. I think I've always known I did theater first. I knew I just wanted to tell stories, make movies and stuff. Like that's what I always wanted to do, is that TV stuff. And falling into doing this hosting and some of this new media stuff that happened, and just realizing, oh, there's other outlets and I have a voice. There's things to do. There is this part of it that was like doing a short film stuff we put together last year and just looking around at this great crew, people working for like, we paid them, but like, cause I always try to pay people, like even if it's just a little, I think it's important to pay people. But I was like, this is really what I want to do. Isn't just me alone, you know, talking into a microphone or a camera. Is like, I want to like have teams where we build together and we take care of each other and we create bigger things that we couldn't do alone. Yeah. Just, I don't know. That just feels like more objectively vital to me. Like being a group, doing something together. Yeah. Being generative.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. Here, how about, what's something dark about you?
Ooh.
Yeah. It's going to be whatever you want. It can be as dark as you want.
About me. Dark.
I just bring it up because I'm like, I think we pay a lot of attention to like, we're like, oh, we're so great, we're hopeful, we're doing stuff. Blah, blah. I mean, I guess this whole thing has been about like this true dysmorphia and this feeling of like,
because you know, there's no good without evil. That's a good question. What is dark about? Because I'm so open. So I'm like, I'm trying to find what's so dark about me.
Yeah, like what? I guess dark does imply something that you keep in the dark, that you try to hide. Yeah. I like this. There's thought going into this.
I mean, well, I will say this. I think that it ties into body dysmorphia because I was open about it on this video, which I never, mind you, once I premiered it to myself and my close friends, we watched it on that screen over there, and I never watched it again. I haven't watched it since I released it. I don't have time for all that. That was a lot of energy. Yeah. A lot of energy. But something dark about me is that I'm still fighting with feeling attractive and feeling sexually attractive enough for myself for other people. Yeah. So even with talking to guys now, like I'm like, this is amazing. However, if I feel like you're way too cute, I feel like you're out of my league, I'll shut it all down. And so that's normal. I get intimidated by hot guys and like, and I'd be like, wait, why are you talking to me though? Because I'm like fucking disgusting. Oof. And that's not even trying to be funny. That's like on some real deep, dark shit in your brain. That's like telling you like, that's where body dysmorphia for me really fucks me up. Like, yes, the food stuff, and yes, the exercise and stuff. It's the romance that really fucks me up. That makes me more depressed than anything. Because it's like, I'm a dope ass person. Like if I could date myself, it'll be fucking amazing. However,
that's like a good.
It's a good way to. Yeah, it's a good start. Yeah. However, it's like, but I'm attracted to like really cute people, and I'm like, wow, you're so fucking dope. But like, and if they do give me attention back, I'm like, oh, this is not real. Oh, this has to be sympathetic. Ooh, yeah. Or this has to be like, you're just doing this because I don't know. Like it has to be a motive. It can't just because you find me attractive. Right. And that's dark. That's some real shit. Like
I always feel that. I think there's a thing you like feel like you tricked them or something.
Yeah. Like wait a minute. I can't be I don't know. But so like, it kind of makes me feel like I have to step back because I'm such a sexual being. I'm very, very sexual. To the point where it's a fucking problem. Like me and my friends call each other creeps. I'm like, we're creepy people.
That's like that, you know, like, I like to fuck, I got a fucking problem.
I do. Yeah, I like to fucking have a fucking problem.
Yeah, I fucking relate to that hard.
But I do. Like I fucking like.
But I also relate to Drake. I was related to like, the sex so good I should have to fuck for free. So.
I live for that. I live for that a lot. But see, that's the thing. So like a person that is very overly sexual, but yet not confident enough to pursue.
Have
Isn't
you
that
had?
crazy?
I do know what you mean. Have you had? And you don't have to answer this. I mean, this is very personal.
That's
I just
fine.
feel like it resonates with me. Is like, have you had partners or like people in the past who like made you feel really good or really beautiful? Really,
I have.
because that to me,
Which is why I have confidence now to date.
That's like my body dysmorphia fundamentally shifted as a younger person. I remember after I mean, this. I hesitate to even say this because it sounds so like
It's the real shit,
obvious or what, or like maybe not healthy because I don't know what the fuck it means. It's just my experience.
Yeah.
Was when I lost my virginity and the girl and we loved each other. I was like, I was in a relationship all the time, and honestly, after that, after someone fucked me and who cared about me, I was like, okay. I'm like,
I must be something.
I felt like okay being naked and stuff. And there are things like
now because of that person, and because he was like significantly thinner, way thinner than me. He's like, so he had like a swimmer's body, and we were together for like almost 3 years. Yeah, and like didn't think that would. I always used to question his motives. Like he used to tell me like, why are you so obsessed with you being bigger than me? Like that's not. I like you for you because you're like fucking amazing. And I'm like, really? But the sex was really disgusting.
You know what's funny?
And
about
I was
that
like,
too? Ooh, yeah.
That's why I was like, wait, how though? Because I feel like I'm a big ass fucking whale. And I was like, how do you make me feel so like comfortable be this fucking disgusting with you? But and he's so fucking small. But it worked. But now fast forward.
I mean, when you're saying it objectively, it doesn't sound weird. It sounds like that's how it's supposed to work. It's
that's amazing. But like now fast forward, I'm like now, see, I don't wear my clothes. I don't wear clothes around the house at all, and I don't matter. It doesn't matter who's around. If you're here, I'm like, hey,
me too.
Here's draws, so don't care. But I had because of him, I got there to the point where I'm like, oh, and so like now talking to guys that are really really cute, I somewhat now, and because of working out too, I feel more confident. Like, oh no, I know I can look. Oh, seeing you, and it's almost like the flip coin of it is like, I can only get better from here. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna keep working out, and it's like you don't want to miss it. You know? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Because I think once this is the funny thing because we're talking about things that like I think the baseline of mental health is like we have to like do these things about like you're not your body, obviously. And once you can separate those values and truly believe and understand that like okay, these are just constructs or whatever. Yeah. I think then if you have healthfully dealt with it, you can use kind of like quote unquote unhealthy things to bolster yourself. And, like I don't know, I think this is about like this whole like no kink shaming thing. You know, like if you're into like rougher stuff or whatever, like that can be in polite society. It's not kosher, and like obviously you don't abuse people in real life.
I absolutely adore people that have kinks, and I actually like one of the things with my friends. I always
like it can be healthy, it can be empowering.
I'm like, what do you live for? Like, and that's so funny that you brought that up because we literally like we all get high, we get stoned or whatever. We sit around this very counter, and we be like, okay. So, bitch, like, what do you really get into? Like, what's something that you would never tell somebody? And then we're like, oh my God, that's so fucking dope. And then you like secretly like, okay, low key, me too. And it's just amazing to do that. So like, and that boosts your self-esteem, boosts your confidence to be like, you know what? There's people out there that's low key fucked up like me.
Yes, low key fucked up, dude. That's good. That's like as good as tired ass army to me. It's like just low key fucked up, bro. Just like low key fucked up. Yeah, because we all are fucking low key fucked up. Yeah, and I think it's that. I just think that's important. Maybe I always think that too about like in trying to be honest, not making shit up just to blow smoke at people's asses, but like if you can truly compliment people, like I just think there are some people like sound bites in my head that like when they said something nice to me, and this is why I think it's like within the context of bedroom stuff or whatever is can be so great is like, and this is I think getting to like healthy sexuality too, is like if somebody has if I can look back and remember a thing that someone said to me that was nice, that made me feel good in the most vulnerable context possible, like, damn, they don't even know how much that affected my whole life. And I try to think about that in reverse too, like, which is another reason why it's so important to be like just like loving with people in vulnerable situations like that and kind and like not use people, is because like that has such a potential to obviously hurt people. Everyone has like horror stories about like terrible hookups or whatever, but also like it's such an opportunity to like almost sometimes like those hookups with like sort of randos or new people, and they say something or do something nice. You're like, you have no ulterior motive. That I carry some of that where you're like, I don't know, if you can do that for other people in your life, that's like can be a real gift.
Yeah, because with people that's like low key depressed and like hate themselves, you low key need a sense of reasoning of why you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Because I hate myself. Why do you like me?
Right.
So that's just it's human nature.
That's beautiful. All right, great. Thanks. That was a fun one. Okay, we're almost there. What's the last gorgeous thing you saw?
So the last gorgeous thing that I saw was probably that Cardi B thing up there that I bought.
Oh yeah, I love that.
They made this called I think they're called idiot art. Don't be mad at me if I got your Instagram ring wrong. I saw this at the shit on Melrose. That's like the trading post. Mm-hmm. And
that's fun. That flea market. Yeah,
it's great. And they made this by hand.
Cool.
And
what's it made out of?
Like acrylic. What's the word? Not acrylic. Yeah, like acrylic. And what's that shit that you put over
like shellac
situation. And they draw it out and they paint it and they put a shellac coat over it, make it shiny like that. And like if you look closely, like the lips are like glittery.
Ooh yeah.
And like the earrings are glittery.
For people who can't see it, it's Cardi B's face. What is that's a cover
album
Which
one?
one?
Album cover.
Yeah, which one? Which album was it?
The very first one.
The very first. Yeah. That's what I thought.
And I had to get that. And then this thing over here that I bought from the trading post also.
I've been looking at this whole time.
Yeah, it's like a woman's figure, but like not. It's like I don't know what the fuck she's doing. But
where'd you get that?
At the trading post.
Oh, was it? That's an artist there?
Yeah, it's an artist.
It's got like kind of Picasso vibes.
And I absolutely, because I love the female body, even as a gay man, I really do. I appreciate the female body. I had to get it.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I've been looking at that the whole time, and it's I don't know. It's like an abstract nude, basically.
And I love a good nude. So there we go.
Great, love it. Okay, and the last thing. This is just a weird little thing I do. I have a thing I call the "Don't Kill Yourself" list, which is like when I was in a very dark time in my life, I started the "Don't Kill Yourself" list.
I live for
and
that.
It always starts with coffee, sandwiches, and lavender soap, and that's like what I started with. But they're usually things that are like accessible and I like sensual things, but like that you can just remind yourself these are objectively great reasons to keep living. Yeah. So add something or a couple, whatever you want to the Don't Kill Yourself list.
My Don't Kill Yourself list would be number 1, create.
Just creating.
You won't be able to create anymore.
Ooh, yeah.
2, so many people love you. And wow.
Yeah.
Well, now that's over. You know what I mean? Also, 2, I haven't sat down and talked to Beyonce or Gaga yet. Even though I worked with both of them, I haven't sat down and like really had like the dinner that I want with them.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't have that if I'm dead, bitch. So, well, got to keep going. So yeah,
goals.
Yeah, that's probably like the things I would add to the list.
All right, I like those. Those are big. Those are good. I like those. All right, well, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for being on My Good Bad Brain.
Thank you for
having me. This was like
me.
really great. I feel like there's so much more. Like I could talk to you about a lot of stuff.
It could go really deep.
This is good. Well, I do think maybe it might be worth revisiting something about like cultural stigmas around mental health.
We should definitely
maybe do a little roundtable, get people from some different backgrounds.
Let's do it.
That might be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Thank you. You're wonderful.
Thank you.
Where can people find your stuff?
You guys can find me at Zachary Campbell. That's everywhere.
Is it 2 L's?
It's 2 L's.
Okay, it's one on Instagram.
On Instagram, it's 1 L.
Yeah.
But even if you type in Zachary Campbell, it comes up.
Okay.
So yeah, just everywhere Zachary Campbell. That's ZACH, not ZACK, because people do that. But yeah,
you're amazing. Check out the dysmorphia thing and just all the stuff. It's great.
Thank
I love Bop or Flop.
Yes.
Tired ass army.
Period.
All right. Thank you. See you
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye. Thanks for listening again to My Good Bad Brain. You guys are the best. Check us out on patreon.com/mygooddbadbrain. Maybe go review us also 5 stars if you want right now while you're thinking about it. If you're feeling good about it. If you don't feel good about it, then put it down and think about it for 10 seconds. All right. Thanks a lot. See you next week. Bye.